An Alzheimer's diagnosis can be devastating and alienating. That's why we're teaming up with the Alzheimer's Association Wisconsin chapter to let you know about the important resources they offer the community. If you have questions about Alzheimer's or other dementia, call their helpline at 800-272-3900. Any day, anytime, free of charge. The Alzheimer's Association provides support groups to both patients and family members. They can also connect you with other people who know what you're going through. Education programs are available for caregivers both virtually and in person. You don't have to face this disease alone. You have the Alzheimer's Association by your side. The helpline phone number again, 800-272-3900. And visit greatmidwestbank.com to learn more about GMB's commitment to community and our Simply Giving mission.
Life's better with a home policy from American Family Insurance because you'll feel protected no matter how the wind blows. All so you can keep enjoying the home of your dreams. And our expert agents can help you save up to 23% when you bundle home with auto. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. American Family Insurance. Get a quote? Find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American.
This is Ben Brust. Hear me every day on KBN from 2 to 5. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station. Broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, day 7 of us. From 2 to 5, 94.5 ESPN, 100.5 ESPN Madison. Now I'm thinking, what do you think if for as long as we do the show, day 2,456, what if I just said the day every day so people know how long we've been here?
Entertaining the public for 2,046 straight days, like at the OSHA thing, no injuries for those many days, but entertaining the KBN
I like
Nation,
it. Like
right?
the days without incident,
I like
but
that too.
Days for your entertainment. I'm Ben Brust. He's Kyle Wallace. Say what up, Kyle.
What's happening? How y'all doing?
I mean, you could have just been like, Ben, I already talked. Why do I have to say what's up?
No, they need to know what up. What's happening?
And Brad Nortman, how are you?
I am excellent. How are you doing, Ben?
Ready to dive right into David Bakhtiari, to be quite honest, because he has been the talk around the Green Bay Packers, and whether it be the summer in which he's talking about, rebuild, and then talking about those comments in a different way and saying, well, of course you're rebuilding. Like, he seems to be the guy that continues to make the most noise in terms of things that are not necessarily positive for this team. And so the recent developments that happened, for those who missed it, he told Rasheed Walker on Saturday night that he was going to be starting at left tackle. Now, whether that was communicated to the coach, it does seem a little bit odd that David Bakhtiari would be the one to let Rasheed Walker know that he's going to be starting at left tackle. From that point on, there was a lot of comments and questions and concerns about, well, was it because of the turf? And we've really never gotten any clarity to this point because Matt LaFleur at the post-game presser really didn't want to address it. And so we got to talk with Jason Wilde yesterday, right after Matt LaFleur's press conference. And if you missed that, you can catch us wherever you get your podcast, Wisconsin On Demand, Apple, Spotify, Kyle, Brust, and Nortman. That's all you got to search. And again, 800-990-3776 if you wanted to get into the conversation. Chris, let's hear from Matt LaFleur yesterday and some interactions that he had about David Bakhtiari with the media.
I'm sure this would be easier on you if Dave would have just talked to us and explained it after the game, but did he not play because it was a turf game or because he had a issue that popped up last week?
Well, his knee is injured and there's swelling, so.
If that game's played at Lambeau Field, is he able to play or not?
I don't believe so.
Just to clarify, is this a...
I'm not talking, all right, that's it. Just to clarify, I'm done talking about it.
About the knee, like, was this...
I'm not talking about it.
There's Matt LaFleur discussing David Bakhtiari's knee with the Packers beat in media yesterday in his Monday presser. Your initial reactions?
He got a little snappy there.
You think?
Just to clarify, I'm not talking about it. See,
that's not clarifying anything.
No, that's not. That's getting a little snappy. I didn't realize how annoyed he has gotten over this whole situation, this whole scenario. Usually Matt is pretty even keel. He'll be friendly. He'll be direct.
Even after I badgered him for about 8 minutes to sign my jersey at Lambeau Field, he never got that snappy.
Yeah. That Matt LaFleur might have slapped you today. The one we saw yesterday might have slapped you.
Yeah, there's a lot of coaches that just would not put up with this over time. And there's things that send coaches off much quicker. And Matt LaFleur has shown he's got some patience. I actually went back last night and watched this because we heard it yesterday on the show. And I went back and watched it. I'm no body language expert.
It's definitely worth watching his facial.
The body language, I feel like, emphasized more how much he's lost his patience, how this is frustrating him. That was pretty eye-opening to me. When I heard the audio, I was like, he's not very pleased. When I saw it with my own eyes, I said, this guy is not just impatient, he's pissed. So that's how I take it, and I think that this David Bakhtiari saga is not really going away, and it's going to continue to be a thorn in the Packers' side. I don't know what the easy resolution is.
800-990-3776. Is David Bakhtiari hurting or helping this team right now? I mean, to me, he's hurting this team. He is. And here's the biggest reason why. And it starts with, to me, Goot. Because everything that the Green Bay Packers did heading into the 2023 season was, we are not going to sign a veteran wide receiver. We are not going to bring in quarterback competition for Jordan Love. We're not going to bring in Anders Carlson, Mercedes Lewis, or we're not going to bring in competition for Anders Carlson. Mercedes Lewis, yeah, great player, but not for this team. And so when I think about the way that all of this has transpired, he's the one cog that is still a part of this team. Obviously, he's under contract, and he's under a big contract, but he's been a distraction from the summer to still heading into week 2 about the uncertainty. And if you want to read between the lines, you can. You can decide if he would have played, whether it be on turf or grass. I think it was turf. I think it's very evident it was turf, because why else would Matt LaFleur be so frustrated by the lack of communication that there is between coach and player? And I think it's weird that he had to tell Rasheed Walker that he's starting on a Saturday night when we heard yesterday that the process for David Bakhtiari is usually waking up on Sunday. If there's a flare-up, he lets the team know, and then they address it. But nothing has connected with the way this story has evolved.
No, it hasn't. And my belief is it's so strange, right? Goody and this team was so focused on turning the page, right? Like anything that looks like the old regime, Rodgers' buddies, the old Green Bay Packers, let's get them out. Let's start this thing fresh. And that was the game plan. I can't fault them for that. If that's how they want to structure the roster, go ahead and do it. I feel like a couple things kept David Bakhtiari as the only remaining relic from that era on this team. One is that contract that you talked about, right? Big contract, big number. Can't cut him without it being incredibly punitive. And, the injury history, maybe it's not so easy to trade him. I also think they thought, man, how disruptive can an offensive lineman be? How bad could this really be, right? He's a great player when healthy. So really, how disruptive can he be? It's only week 2, guys. It's only week 2. And there's already discussion about that. That's a red flag to me.
And as you said, you thought you moved on from this, right? You thought when Aaron Rodgers was gone and some of his buddies, and his buddies weren't the issue. Randall Cobb, Alan Lazard, they weren't the real issues. But David Bakhtiari has become a problem and an issue. I have defended David Bakhtiari for months because I really felt like the talent that he had and the necessity of the position that he played and the newness of Jordan Love being the starting quarterback for the first time and that changing of the guard is that talent outweighed the potential headache that he may be able to cause. And it has only taken, as you just said, 2 weeks for me to flip exactly how I feel about that, because the most important thing that the Packers need to do right now, and it's not about winning a championship this year. We've already talked about that. It's about building that culture that Brad has spoken about when it comes to the thing that you really need in the NFL and building that positive positive culture where the leader starts with Matt LaFleur. You don't need somebody else doing their own thing or saying things that's getting in other people's heads. And so the one thing when it comes to David Bakhtiari has earned the right to carry himself as a veteran. He has earned the right and the respect to basically have a little freedom, have a little, some of the things that you get as a vet. But he's still an offensive lineman. He's still an offensive tackle. And as an offensive tackle, you are replaceable. Offensive linemen, they're not just like running backs, but at offensive tackle, offensive lineman, you can find another guy who can be somewhat serviceable and keep your quarterback clean. Now, he may not be as elite as David Bakhtiari, but David Bakhtiari only got so many years left. And if we suck, if we get rid of David Bakhtiari and we suck, well, guess what? We have a low pick to do what? Use a premium pick to draft a left tackle to replace him. So at this point in time, I'm saying that he has been more detrimental to this locker room and to this team. We're talking way too much about a left tackle, an offensive lineman that most people don't know who is.
800-990-3776. Again, 800-990-3776. Is David Bakhtiari hurting or helping this team? And again, this can be taken a lot of different ways, right? Because the flip side of the culture conversation that we're having and the way that this team's trying to build moving forward is, in order to build forward, you need to make sure that you're protecting your most important asset if you truly believe that is going to be Jordan Love. And I think he showed glimpses, and he's exceeded expectations thus far.
Who are you talking about?
Say his name.
He who must not be named. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Number 10. Because we call quarterbacks by their number here
Jimmy
in Green Bay. Definitely not exceeding expectations. But when it comes to the beyond the culture conversation, David Bakhtiari is a staple. Like, he's an all-pro type guy, but we said yesterday your best ability is availability. And not being available on turf and picking and choosing, it sets a very weird precedent in week 2 when you're trying to, build off a win against a rival, have a potential 2-0 start in a really bad division. So now it's you're getting to the point where you need to figure out what the purpose of this team is. If the purpose is to win and try and attack winning this division, which obviously it's always to win. Everyone thinks they can do these things early on, but you're trying to build off week 1 where you have a lot of hope, and then all of a sudden you throw like this dead fish right before the start in week 2.
Yeah, and to answer the question where I'm at with it, I think he is more hurting the team than helping the team, but it doesn't have to be the case. Let's say even if he did have a knee flare-up and or turf played a role in it, there's a lot of ways the way like an NFL career arc can be, right? It's kind of like young growth phase, peak performance phase, and then when you're in the veteran phase, yes, you either are more hurt, unreliable, but there is such thing as an incredibly helpful and healthy veteran that can really help a young team. I was lucky to have a bunch of really older guys that were past their prime. Maybe they were injured more or less, but they could like breathe life and help and support and encourage the lineman, the quarterback. They can be a leader in the locker room in different ways. And we don't know for sure if he is doing that, but from hearing Matt LaFleur's impatience, it makes me think that he's not playing that role either. Of like, okay, even if he doesn't want to play, is he being a leader to these young guys? And it seems, I don't think Matt LaFleur would have this impatience if he was going to that step either.
800-990-3776. I think this is a very well summarized piece of text from Kevin in Sheboygan. Bach definitely didn't play because it was turf. And again, these are his statements based off hearing the audio from LaFleur, hearing the press conference after the game. He definitely did not tell the coaching staff. MLF, Matt LaFleur, is pissed because Dave Bakhtiari handled it the wrong way. Now he's lying to protect Bakhtiari, and this saga is going to be a problem until they address it properly or trade him. And I think that's the biggest thing, is they need to figure out what's their path.
The path isn't Super Bowl this year. That's why I think it's okay to let him go. And you were just giving a great description of different levels of what you will allow. But when I thought about that as you were talking, I was thinking about like at a daycare, right? Or you send your kid to a daycare, and if kids hanging around bad kids or kids that have behavior issues, you want to get rid of your kid. You want to move your kid away from that behavior issue, right? Because that one bad seed is causing for the other kids to act a certain way. And I don't want that one bad seed of David Bakhtiari to be the role model for what they believe they can do later on. And so that's why at this point, you have to cut ties. Now, is it today? No. But by the trade deadline, David Bakhtiari should not be on this roster because he is not the one piece that's going to help you win a Super Bowl in 2 years. He's not. He's not going to be part of this team. So you might as well cut your losses now and build for a future.
Appleman in the Orchard chimes in, definitely hurting the team. I would love to work part-time and chug beers at Bucs games and get $20 million. Appleman. And again, I think that's where a lot of people are going with this. And there's an old school mindset of, hey, you're not going to be 100%, right? Like, you signed this big contract. I understand that you've had knee surgeries, but your job is to go out there and protect the quarterback. And picking and choosing when you do that is really the tough part, because there's still no clarity on, was he injured? There's none. Matt LaFleur didn't even did you walk away from hearing Matt LaFleur thinking, oh, you know what? I feel better now. You know why? Because David Bakhtiari had a flare-up. None of us are feeling that way after hearing from Matt LaFleur, and I think this is an important note. DJ in the Saw. Walker and Nyman were both solid in pass protection against the Falcons. How much worse are we without Bach? Trade Bach to his boys' Jets team, where he will only play 4 games on grass this year. Get what you can, cut your losses, and move on. Now, I think there's a couple elements here. Cutting him, I don't think makes any sense at all, because he signed through next year. You're taking too big of a dead cap hit. But if you can trade him and get something of return back for the good of your culture and for the good of your franchise moving forward with what you're trying to build and what your philosophy is that you're trying to build from a general management standpoint, it's something that you have to consider. 800-990-3776. Again, 800-990-3776. Is David Bakhtiari hurting or helping this team? Plus, Craig Karmazin, host of Sunday Karma, 10 to noon, back in June, had some comments about David Bakhtiari and what the Packers should do with him. Nostra Karmazin? We'll talk about it next on Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, presented by Bud Light.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, presented by Bud Light.
It is the 414 hour at 4.
No.
All right, Kyle, take it away.
If you're going to say it, you got to say it right. It's the 414 hour at 4.
Okay, so how am I supposed to say that?
Foe. Come on.
All right.
Foe. 1. 4.
It's the 414 hour at 4.
Come on, they're going to have some swag
No way. I can't do that every day.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. From the tee box to the green and everything golf related in between.
Who's number one?
Max.
Yeah, Max Homa's number one. It's not even close, right?
On the tee with Gabe Neitzel and Stephen Watson.
Just because he's been so open and honest already, you get a couple drinks in that guy. Like, how open is he going to be?
On the tee with Gabe and Stephen. Presented by Wisconsin Golf Trips. Tuesday night at 6, right here on 94.5 ESPN. And available with Wisconsin On Demand wherever you get your podcasts. It's time for the Milwaukee Baseball Report on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by National Liquor Mart at 16th and National in Milwaukee. Packed with the best beer, liquor, seltzer, and spring deals in town. Open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily, where your satisfaction is their plan of action.
Another series win for the Crew as they take 2 of 3 from the Nationals over the weekend at AmFam Field. 3 very entertaining games, with Saturday's win being one to remember. And Mark Hanna delivered this one.
First offering to him. And a drive out to left. This is high, deep, gone! Mark Canna, backflip engaged, a grand slam, and the Brewers lead it 9-5.
The Crew would finish the weekend 6.5 games up on the Chicago Cubs in the Central Division, with 4 series remaining, including the final road stand of the season happening this week.
This has been the Milwaukee Baseball Report on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by National Liquor Mart.
For over 4 decades, one name has stood out as a symbol of excellence in automotive sales and service.
It's the Boucher Automotive Group, dedicated to providing exceptional experiences to all of our valued customers.
We will help you find the perfect vehicle within your budget while respecting your time.
With 20 convenient locations, we're the one-stop destination for all your automotive needs.
At Boucher, we're your trusted partner on every mile of your journey.
Riding with you every mile since 1977.
The Boucher Group has exciting news to share with you.
We've expanded to better serve our community.
Introducing Nissan Lake Country, the newest addition to our family.
Step into our showroom and discover our exceptional selection of brand new Nissans.
We're also stocked with the best pre-owned options in the market.
And as we expand, we're not just growing our inventory, we're also growing our team.
So join a team that values your skills and celebrates your success.
Visit us online or in-store today and view our current job listings at bouchercareers.com.
It's time for the Ortho ASAP Minute from Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin.
Dr. Sam Steiner is with me. So someone suffers a sports injury and walks into OAW. What's next?
In some cases, setting them up with a sports therapist through our facility and seeing if they can get back into what they want to do without surgery. And then in other cases, when we see them back, we follow them along. You're not assessing just their injury, you're assessing the patient. You want to understand their expectations, and based on that, that's where you go down a treatment algorithm to get them back into what they want to do.
Is it tough to take into account the human aspect of things and not just focus on the injury?
I think it's very challenging. And like I said, you have to be invested in the people you take care of to understand where they're coming from and what their expectations are. They just can't be a number and look at, say, an MRI and say, well, you have this, then we're going to do this. I think in every single circumstance, you have to take into account everything that you have and assess the patient, understand where they're coming from and what their expectations are.
The Ortho ASAP Minute is sponsored by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
Buckle up. It's all systems go at Potawatomi. Plug in to high wattage play and you could win an all-electric BMW i7. Play now through September with your club card. Prize drawings on Thursdays. There's a shocking $800,000 in total prizes on the line, including the luxury BMW i7. It's time to electrify your drive. Only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. More info at paysbig.com/BMW. Must be 21 years old and a club member to play.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
David Bakhtiari continues to be the center of conversation. You tell us if it's good or bad. It's hard for me to figure out the good in him being on this team, other than the fact that you want to protect Jordan Love. But how available will he be? We'll continue to dive into that. This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin. 800-990-3776, or you can get us on Twitter at KBN ESPN. And this was back in June. I want to say June 2nd on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy on a Friday. As this was right around the time David Bakhtiari was talking about this Packers team and whether they were going through a rebuild or not, and just kind of really whether they were or were not. He was the lone voice that talked about them going through a rebuild. So I thought it was worth going back and revisiting comments from Craig Karmazin, the host of Sunday Karma, 10 to noon across these various stations on Sundays. You still producing that, Kyle?
I got swindled into doing it still.
All right. Well, you can hear our guy Kyle Wallace producing alongside Craig on Sundays. But here's what Craig had to say when joining Jen, Gabe, and Chewy back in June.
He's got to be gone. He's got to be gone. He can't be on this team.
Why?
Get him off this team immediately. Right? I mean, so I was listening to your show, and if I were a Packers fan, and I am rooting for the Bears to win the division this year, so I'll put my cards on the table. But I mean, you have a guy who is theoretically your leader, right? Your veteran guy who's been there the longest, saying, "I'm going to show up for as many things as I have to get paid, and then I'm not going to come to any of them." That's like one of our leaders in the company saying, "I'm going to use all my sick days, even if I'm not sick." Like that. And so what? So that the younger players can hope that one day they could be a star so that they don't have to show up? I mean, how do you build a culture that way? How do you try to instill what you want in your younger players if your veteran leaders are saying, no, not only do I not want to over-deliver, I'm going to do the minimum that I have to and spend the least possible time around the rest of the team to help them?
That was David Bakhtiari, who had bonuses worked into his contract if he made it to a certain amount of OTAs or mandatory minicamps, whatever those details are. I think still aren't important as to the overall thought of, again, a guy who seems, I don't know if disgruntled is the right word, but it's starting to lean that way. And the funniest part to me was this was Mark Chmura at the beginning of the conversation saying, why would you do that? I'm listening live on Green Bay game day, 3 hours before the show on Sunday, before they play the Falcons. Cut his ass! That's what Chewy's saying. So I got to give it to Craig in terms of bringing this to the conversation, because a lot of the things that were true and evident in the offseason are taking place right in front of our eyes.
And when I first heard that from Craig back in early June, he called that, I was like, I don't know. He seems like a really important piece of the offensive line, a really irreplaceable talent that for a young quarterback, I think you want. I think you want his blind side protected. But man, since then, Craig called it. He called it because it's not just this one event either. Like, is he hurt? Is he playing on turf? This is the one guy, salty old vet. That's kind of what I figured when I heard this, this disgruntled, as you were trying to describe, Ben. Salty old vet is how I view this because, I am sure there was team meetings where Matt LaFleur said something to the effect of, people are going to label us as rebuilding and we're young and we have no chance, but let's prove them wrong. It's going to be all positive. All we're in this. There is no such thing as a group of guys in the NFL locker room that would say, oh yeah, we're just rebuilding this year. And he's the lone guy that said we're in rebuild. It was the kind of the side comment of Jordan Love's expectations. And he said first ballot Hall of Famer, kind of tongue in cheek, where it's like, man, that just felt off and weird. He just won't get in line, and he's a salty old vet who's now unreliable on top of this. And it's just enough strikes to say how much is enough.
See, my whole thing is this. I do Sunday Karma with Craig. I've been doing it for years now. And I know he's buddy with Aaron Rodgers, just like you're buddy with Aaron Rodgers. That's his boy. And so I thought there was a different motive behind it.
I don't know if you could classify me and Aaron Rodgers as buddies.
Well, they're buddies. And so I thought there was a different motive behind this conversation, right? He's just trying to move the needle and get people to react to maybe it's time for D-Bach to move. And so I have to admit he was right the whole time. Because at the end of the day, what he said is 100% correct. Again, I said before, I defended David Bakhtiari back then because I knew how important he was to this team. But I just feel like he's been dropping these little nuggets as long as he could in order to cause something. You know what I'm saying? Not push too hard, but push enough where you make a little bit of noise and you become a little bit of a nunuisance. And
he's been a nuisance.
He has successfully accomplished that goal of becoming a nuisance. But at this point, there's nowhere for him to go, and he's just doing him. And doing him is not going to fit with this team very well. And you know what I think about as we watching the Cleveland Browns here on TV? There's a guy who's a Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer named Joe Thomas, played at Wisconsin, left tackle for the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns were awful and terrible, and he deserved better. He also tore his ACL as well in college as well. He never once complained, requested a trade. He just went out there, was a good team guy, and competed for a losing team year in and year out. Why is it that D-Bach can't do the same thing for the Green Bay Packers? He's not better than Joe Thomas. He's not the greatest offensive tackle of all time, so he doesn't deserve to be able to do what he wants and cause eventual problems inside the locker room. So once I really thought about Joe Thomas and what he represented, and that David Bakhtiari is making a choice not to go about it in a positive way, that's when I realized that the guy I really do adore and I really do like him has to go.
See, but here's where I got to question you, Kyle, because when we have different conversations about today's athlete versus different, I don't want to say generations, but there's a gap in which Joe Thomas grew up playing in the NFL and for as long as he did, and you talk about players nowadays. They're going to express their feelings. They're going to say how they feel. Now, whether he's done that effectively or not in the right way of communication towards Matt LaFleur and whatnot, but what if, in his mind, he is not mentally okay playing on turf? What are you going to say to him?
No.
Because he's supposed to express his feelings.
Okay, I understand mentally playing on turf, but the comments that he made about J. Love being a first ballot Hall of Famer, the comments about
that was in jest.
Oh, okay. Well, the comments about the team having low expectations, the comments about me not wanting to show up because my contract only says I need to show up those days, so I'm gonna just show up the days that my contract says. So that's the reason why I'm not here, because my contract is more important than trying to be a leader and build this team up. And you know what path he's just about following in, but not the exact path, is Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers chose not to show up either because he was a little disgruntled. And so I'm at the point now where we are not going to win the Super Bowl with David Bakhtiari. It does not matter. Let him kick it to the curve. He can go. He can go be in, where'd you say he can go wherever he want to be? Somebody say he can go to Green Bay East, or he can go to
the Jets where they have turf.
Yeah, he can go anywhere he wants to go. He does not need to be here if he doesn't want to be here.
800-990-3776. Is it even worth it to have David Bakhtiari anymore?
Well, and like if he wasn't comfortable with being on turf, I think actually the coaching staff would understand that. But it seems like he didn't go tell them that, right? Why would they have frustration? And you'd hear that in Matt LaFleur's voice if he said, look, I don't feel comfortable playing on turf. I will play on grass. And, oh, yeah, by the way, when I'm not playing on turf, I will be another coach to these young offensive linemen. Like, that would be a really healthy. How could you say no to that?
And why didn't they just say this? Listen, guys, I understand with all the turf conversation going on, y'all know he tore his ACL. You know the mental block that it's been. You know how much of a struggle it's been for him to just get back on the field to play the game he loves. And so we're going to be extra cautious whenever we're going to send him out there to make sure he's healthy for the rest of the year. Him not just saying that is proving that there's some other things going on behind the scenes because they're not being forthcoming. They don't know. They don't have that clear communication, that clear statement coming from the top. This is what we're saying. Both teams play hard. Rasheed Wallace had it down. Both teams play hard. Or what did Marshawn Lynch say?
I'm here so I don't get fined.
I'm here so I don't get fined. He had a clear.
He said a lot of things, so I'm glad I hit that one.
Thank you. But no, they had a clear message. The Packers need to figure out a clear message how they're going to deal with this moving forward. But right now, still as of yesterday, that was not a clear message.
800-990-3776. Dave from Aaron chimes in. I think our O-line is good enough without D-Bach. The only wrench in the plan is that Jenkins being hurt. The trade to Green Bay East is another number 2 pick or something a little, I'm guessing second round pick because number 2 pick wouldn't, I don't think. Actually, they might have the number 2 pick because Zach Wilson's that bad. But that being said, I just think right there, that is the wrench that I think is important to talk about because you don't know how long Elton Jenkins is going to be out. And heading into the season, the strength of that offensive line was having D-Bach and Elton Jenkins. And now Josh Myers was a question. You're putting in Royce Newman in guard, which has not been good at times for this Packers team. Yosh Nijman has been a solid replacement. It just lends the question, right? Is what they have good enough for Jordan Love to protect him effectively as you hope to grow him into that position? But no matter what the case may be, right? You know who's always going to provide clarity? You know who's always going to be transparent? You know who's going to over-deliver and have that Joe Thomas Hall of Fame mindset? That's Gina Della from Pella.
Let me tell you about my friends at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. This is the time to replace your old drafty windows, not during the dead of winter. Pella has a great deal going on right now. Pay as low as $19 a month per window and $75 a month on patio doors. The installation is complete with no mess, no hassle, leaving nothing but perfect results. Visit PellaWI.com today. 6.99% APR for 120 months. Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details. Offer ends 9/30/2023.
Mark Tauscher, a guy with banged up knees, played on turf, played on grass. I think the Packers Hall of Famer will have quite the perspective. He's next on Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, presented by Bud Light.
You're listening to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman.
So I'll say that, man. Mark Chmura, every time I see him in the morning, get my coffee, I walk right by here, and I look at him, I'm like, man, that's a handsome dude.
So I'm going to cull up with him too, huh?
I'd love to. I feel like I'd fit right in. He's 6'6", I'd be the little spoon with Chew.
Presented by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Gabe, where do you think our group should be taking our golf trip next year?
Jason, I don't know. Do you have time to figure it all out and get all the reservations made? I certainly don't.
Not really. I mean, I'm so busy. If I only knew somebody to call that might do all the work for us.
Oh, I know about Wisconsin Golf Trips. Their main business is booking groups from around the world to play all the great courses in our state, but they're now doing outbound trips for groups each year to places like Michigan, Minnesota, and Nevada. Plus, Wisconsin Golf Trips is even booking custom packages for Scotland and Ireland.
Oh, wow. Let's hit them up.
WisconsinGolfTrips.com.
when the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Pick up Bud Light at your local convenience store today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Oh, how great it would feel to have your 20-year-old knees, shoulders, hips, and back.
You know, you don't think about your pains when you're in your 20s or 30s, but you wish you could get that body back when you're in your 60s. I think QC did that for me.
For Patrick, here in Milwaukee, it started with a simple phone call to QC Kinetics.
One day I was driving and I just heard the radio and I pulled over and took the number and I called them when I got home.
Maybe that's you, and you're listening right now. Why wait? QC Kinetics Regenerative Treatments uses your body's own natural biologics to heal and restore damaged tissue without invasive surgery or harmful drugs. And as for the results,
my knees are as good as they were when I was in my 20s. I'm really happy with what happened.
For Patrick, it's like QC Kinetics turned back the clock. Now it's your turn. Call QC Kinetics today for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
UW Credit Union presents the Student Athlete of the Week, supporting local student athletes as they grow on the field, in the classroom, and in the community. UW Credit Union is here for every you. Learn more at uwcu.org. Here's Ashton Rotman with the UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week.
This week's UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week is Muskego's Jack Lavish. Lavish, a junior running back for the Warriors, racking up an impressive season already. Through 5 games, Lavish has 651 rushing yards, including a season-high 149 yards rushing in last Friday's 31-21 Muskego win over rival Mukwonago. Lavish scoring twice in the win as well. The win snapped a 3-game losing streak from Muskego to Mukwonago, something that Lavish, of course, hoping now to carry into next season as a senior as well. The Warriors moving to 5-0 with the win. They are already on the doorstep of clinching a spot in the WIAA playoff field. As for the conference title, Muskego tied at the top with Kettle Moraine, who they will face in the regular season finale on October 13th.
The Bog in Saukville is Ozaki County's best golf experience. 18 championship holes designed by the legendary golfer Arnold Palmer, settled amongst 250 acres of beautiful private land. The Bog caters to golfers of all skill levels, offering a golf experience unlike any other. Come enjoy the finest golf greens in Wisconsin, and after your round, enjoy a bite to eat in our restaurant or out on our new patio bar overlooking the 18th green. It's time to golf, Wisconsin. It's time to enjoy the Bog.
Brian, why are you stacking books on the floor?
I want to stand while I work. Standing desks are all the rage these days.
Well, it's a good thing that these desks move up and down. You did know that, right?
What? They do?
Yeah, we're not messing around here.
This is great. Now, only if I had a chair to swivel around in.
Do you just not pay attention to everybody else's desks?
Well, no wonder I'm not getting much done these days.
Coakley Brothers and Brothers Interiors, the official moving and furniture provider of GKB Milwaukee. Mark Tauscher on Kyle, Brust, and Nortman is brought to you by Fleet Farm. Remember, if Fleet Farm doesn't have it, then you don't need it.
This wonderful bump back song by Natasha Bedingfield means that Mark Tauscher, Packers Hall of Famer and host of Wilde and Tausch from 9 to noon across these very stations Monday through Friday, is joining Kyle, Brust, and Nortman here. It's always a great jam. Excited to get Tauschi's input as people are fired up. I wonder what Tausch's approach will be. Let's bring him in as a former offensive tackle himself on the different side. Has his knees busted up as well. Tauschi, what's your overall feel of how long David Bakhtiari is going to be with this team?
Well, I don't know. I think he, obviously something is going on. And, there's a ton of speculation, as I said on the pregame show, the postgame show. Until we get some type of clarity from David and or the organization, you just don't know, because think about it this way. I know everybody is making the claim that turf, listening to Matt LaFleur, maybe there's some truth in that. But we have to also account he's missed a ton of games. His knee is not getting better. I can assure you, as you get older and you've had the type of, the 2 years that David has had with his knee, with all of the surgeries that he's had to have on it, it doesn't get better. So you manage it and you try and get as much out of him as you can. And, I hope that it's, he's going to be able to play. I think coming into the season, I was hoping if he got 12 games, you'd look at this and say, that's not bad. Because I was surprised when Goody didn't either ask for a pay cut or do something, move on because of David's history and what he'd been through and the big cap number that they had. But they paid him, and I think they've said, you know what, we're going to manage this, because the bottom line on this is you can watch other teams. He's still really good when he plays. It's just a matter of getting him out there. And when he's out there, he plays at a high level. And other teams would love to have David Bakhtiari if he can play. Now, if he's missing 3/4 of the season, then you have to start balancing out, all right, what's the ratio of how much we're paying him compared to how much he's playing? So he is going to get paid for this year. He is active for the first week. He's going to get all of his money. So now I think Green Bay looks at it and says, all right, as much as we can get out of David Bakhtiari, we're going to get. And if that's only playing on grass, so be it. That's where we're at with David in his career.
Old T, I'm going to have Chris Larson give you a shout back. You're a little choppy on our end, so we just want to make sure we get the best connection. So let's get him dropped. Let's see if that button worked. Boom! It worked. Did you know this was touchscreen?
I feel like he dropped them. There's no way you dropped him from the screen, did you?
That is so much power in one man's hand.
There's no way that
no, it's definitely not a touchscreen. It is definitely not a touchscreen. Chris happened to hang up right when I pressed
what
drop.
are the odds?
That's like a child where you give them the video game remote because they want to play the video game with you, and you let them just play like they're doing something. That was Ben right
Back
now.
with us is Packers Hall of Famer Mark Tauscher here on KBN, presented by Bud Light.
It felt like it was choppy. I heard a lot of...
There you are.
Loud
and clear now.
You're clear, baby.
Is it a lot better? Okay, good.
Yeah.
So... everything I just said was really smart.
It was. Yes.
Brilliant.
It was brilliant, Tausch. Everything you say. Gold, gold, gold.
It was, and here's my thing. My biggest takeaway is this, is that you're talking about it's a health issue. For me, I think D-Bach, it might be more of a too much influence in the locker room. Am I overstating the fact that it seems like there's so many miscommunications going on, whether it's Rasheed Walker saying that he found out on Saturday or Matt LaFleur talking about, it's a game day type thing. Is there just, do we feel like he has way too much influence in the locker room, or am I overstating that?
Well, I mean, I think you can make that claim, but the bottom line is everybody is going to be treated fairly, but not everybody's going to be treated equally. You understand, and I always love this quote. I go back to it a lot when we have these conversations. Jimmy Johnson, when he was taking over the Dallas Cowboys, he cut a special teams player on the plane because he made a mistake. And then the next day he goes into a meeting and Troy Aikman's sleeping. And somebody's like, well, you have to cut Troy Aikman. So what did you end up doing? Said, I walked in there, I tapped Troy, I said, wake up, we need you. Those are your differences. And David Bakhtiari he's been a great player for this organization for a long time. He is going to be treated differently, and knowing how they've had to manage him since he blew his knee out on that New Year's Eve, it's going to be different. So until, I just wish on this whole thing, because obviously I like Dave a lot. I've known David for a long time. And the communication on this, it's been bad. They should have just come out and said he's not playing this week. I understand there's competitive advantages to all of this, but the fact that you have Matt LaFleur getting very testy with Wilde and with all the reporters,
it was fun
because you're trying to find out information, that always puts up a red flag for me. So I'm hoping at some point David speaks, or we get some clarity as far as, did his knee swell up? Was there some issues after that Bear game? Because, again, he hadn't played in a long time. And when you do 60, 70 reps, all of a sudden that Monday and Tuesday, you're thinking, oh, my gosh, it's swollen. What's going on? It could be that. There's obviously something to do with turf. There's more to this story. And when you don't have clarity, all the conspiracies and everything else comes in, and that's when you try to piece everything together and figure out what's actually going on.
Tauschi, from an offensive lineman's perspective, whether it be he just doesn't feel like his knee on any given Sunday is ready to support him, or he does feel uncomfortable on turf, there's a certain feeling of, okay, there's unreliability. We don't know how many games he's going to be out there for. We don't know which week he's going to be playing. From an offensive lineman continuity standpoint, does that disrupt the offensive lineman, or is it more plug and play than we think it is?
Well, in an ideal world, you want your 5 guys practicing. You want them talking about the game plan, going through stunts, and how you pick up all of those things. But throughout that, David Bakhtiari hasn't practiced. So Rasheed Walker, Yash, these guys have gotten a ton of reps. So, yeah, I think in a perfect world, you want everybody to get the reps together. That just doesn't happen, especially, as the season unwinds and guys are more banged up and you have to rest. This has been the protocol with David for a while. So I don't think he is a special talent that locks people down when you're throwing out pass rushers. He's done that for years. It's why he's been an all-pro, and that's why he's been able to kind of do what he wants. Kyle, I know you asked earlier does he have too much influence? I think when you have talent, Charles Woodson was the same way. He had different schedules. He did things in his way, and I'm sure that irritated coaches. But you know what it didn't irritate him? When he's taking pick sixes back and he's being the decoy in 2009. There's a give and a take, and when you're a special player, you want everyone to do the same things, but that's just not how it goes, especially as guys get older and they have certain ways they need to keep their body up in order to keep playing.
Talking with Packers Hall of Famer Mark Tauscher here on Kyle, Brust, and Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin. Tauscher, we have it on Twitter at KBN ESPN. Back in June, Craig Karmazin said that the Packers should trade David Bakhtiari. Was he right? I say yes for a couple reasons. One, you mentioned you were shocked they didn't restructure. They likely would have restructured if they traded him. And now they're kind of stuck because hasn't he putting this all out there probably hurt his value from a trade standpoint?
Well, nobody's going to trade for him if he's banged up and he can't play. I think if you were going to do it, you would have done it in March. So I think the question is, should the Packers have, when they decided to move on from Aaron Rodgers, take that dead cap on David Bakhtiari and move forward with their new offensive line? And I think that's the question that I would ask. In this case, you're not going to trade him. And once he's vested and once his full salary is guaranteed for the year, which happened on that Friday before the Bears game, you're in. You're all in. Once Brian Gutekunst and David Bakhtiari's representatives had that conversation and they worked it out, this was going to be David Bakhtiari is going to play left tackle. And I think we all thought this is going to be his last year in Green Bay. I still believe that. I think last year when you started looking at what your plans were moving forward with Jordan Love, I was always confused because you didn't bring back Mercedes Lewis. You didn't bring back Mason Crosby. You didn't bring back Adrian Amos. And then you bring back David Bakhtiari, and I think that was to help Jordan's development more so than anything else because you knew what you were going to get, but you also knew that there's a chance he's going to miss a ton of games. That's the give and the take, and I give David a lot of credit. He was able to secure all of that cash, and as a player, I'm always rooting for that. But I think from a Packer organizational standpoint, I think they probably look back and say, we probably should have done things differently.
Tauscher, for 2023, all things considered, will David Bakhtiari be a net negative or a net positive?
Ooh, good question. Good question. I'm gonna still lean on the net positive because I do think he brings a lot to that locker room, and I think if he can get 12 or 13 games as your starting left tackle, and he puts up the performance like he did against the Bears on the road, I think you're going to be very happy with what he was able to do. I think he's going to help the rest of his group, the O-line. So I think on the whole, yeah, I'm going to go net positive because I think if he can get to 12 or 13 games, I think that's a pretty good season for where David's at in his career.
So, Tauscher, I unfairly ripped you last Friday. In order for you to hear what I said and react, we'd have to pull a Wilde and Tausch special and have you stay for another segment. Are you willing to do that?
Oh, man. Yes, in this case, because you besmirched me as bad as you did, and I actually had our general manager text me and ask me what was going on, and I said, I have no idea what is going on. And then I find out later you're sitting there besmirching me, and I've taken a little umbrage with it. So, yes, I will stick around.
Coming up next, Mark Tauscher, Packers Hall of Famer, joins us to bash me after I besmirched his name here on KBN.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light.
How are you doing today, Rob?
I'm doing great. We just got out of the Packers locker room, and the whole time, Ben, I'm thinking, God, I just want to get out of here so I can go talk to those guys at 3:30. I'm like, Jordan Love, wrap this thing up. Let's get on with it.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. The honeymoon is over after a Week 2 letdown for the green and gold.
Pressure from Dupree once again. Fires downfield. Incomplete. Kick from 25 yards out. Gives Atlanta a 1-point advantage.
It's on to the home opener where things hope to get back on track.
More or less, we got to do a better job with our details.
Green Bay Game Day is live from Green Bay on Sunday starting at 9 with Alex Strofe, Kyle Wallace, Tori Lowe, and many more. Green Bay Game Day Sunday from 9 to noon right here on 94.5 ESPN.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog, because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain cold refreshment made to chill. 2020 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Hi, I'm John McGivern. If you're looking for a Medicare plan with freedom and flexibility, choose a Network Health Medicare Advantage plan. Plans start as low as $0 a month with $0 doctor visits and $0 prescription drugs, plus vision, hearing, and dental benefits. For 40 years, Network Health has been a trusted expert in making health insurance affordable and understandable. Don't wait. Call 833-7-NETWORK today.
A bank that goes the extra yard? You got it. Show your love for the green and gold with Packers checking only from Associated Bank. Make every transaction a touchdown with your Packers debit MasterCard. And when you use it at the Packers Pro Shop, at the stadium, or online, you'll get 10% off. Associated Bank's Packers checking scores the home field advantage by delivering Midwest-based customer care, outstanding value, and more. Get in the game and learn more today at AssociatedBank.com/Packers. Member FDIC.
Big players show up in big games. Donald Driver and Cousins subs are no different. With the football season upon us, Double D and Cousins are teaming up to offer 80-cent delivery now through Sunday, September 24th on any order of $20 or more. Simply order your favorite subs and sides online or on Cousins mobile app, and we'll deliver them to you. And don't forget, we now offer Apple and Google Pay. Cousins subs. We believe in better.
Buckle up. It's all systems go at Potawatomi. Plug in to high wattage play and you could win an all-electric BMW i7. Play now through September with your club card. Prize drawings on Thursdays. There's a shocking $800,000 in total prizes on the line, including the luxury BMW i7. It's time to electrify your drive. Only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. More info at paysbig.com/BMW. Must be 21 years old and a club member to play.
Bikers need protection, not just from other drivers, but unfortunately from insurance companies too. If you've been injured in a motorcycle crash, call Gruber Law Offices today. Bikers are often blamed for causing the accident because the insurance companies simply don't want to pay. At Gruber Law Offices, we've been fighting for injured bikers and their families for more than 30 years. Trust us to fight for what you deserve. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here for my friends at Kohler Services. Have you been thinking of updating your bath or shower? Well, Kohler Services is a local end-to-end bath and shower design and remodel service brought to you by Kohler, a family-owned business in Wisconsin for 150 years. Kohler is the only manufacturer offering fast, professional installation and care for life. Start enjoying your bath or shower right now with a special offer. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote and tell them that I sent you. Again, that's KohlerServicesWI.com.
You're listening to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Come on, it's up in the morning, girl, and the DJ playing that song.
You know what? Mark Tauscher is really hardworking. He's joined us now for back-to-back segments. So I think Fleet Farm just deserves a shout-out because they sponsored the Tausch appearance here on Kyle, Brust, and Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin. Mark Tauscher, the Packer Hall of Famer, breaking down everything regarding David Bakhtiari and the news surrounding him. And I got after Tauschi last week. So what I'm going to do, Tausch, is I'm not going to talk. I'm going to set up what I said last Friday, and I will give you the floor. How does that sound?
Sounds fair. Sounds really fair.
All right. Here's myself giving Mark Tauscher the business, whether I was right or wrong, last Friday. Someone who bothered me earlier today was Mark Tauscher of Wilde and Tausch. Love the Greater Bucky Open. Great cause. A lot of it goes to the UW Children's Hospital and everything they do raising money. And I believe he was out at Blackhawk Country Club. Mark Tauscher was out there with Jesse Nelson. Jason Wilde was at home doing the show. And Tausch had the audacity. You know, I think what this stems from is a guy who is the recent, he's full-time with the Badger football team doing color analysis with Matt LePay. You know, he's been a staple at our station. I'd say he's one of the most talented guys we have. But I was very disappointed in his work ethic. The guy takes more vacations than anyone I know on our station. And then he has the audacity to talk about leaving the show at 11:45 to go golf. You know why? Because poor Mark Tauscher said, normally this golf outing starts at 10 a.m. And so now that it starts 11 a.m., I'm going to leave the show at 11:30 and miss Feel Good Friday, something that he claims that he really loves. He leaves the show early to go golf. When I started in 2017, I tried to leave I tried to pack up during the show. Greg Scalzo ripped me to shreds. Never let me live it down. But now we got entitled hosts, leaving shows early, taking more vacations than ever before, worried about his other job, doing color analyst job with the Badgers. I just want to call out Tausch. I am not okay with what he's doing. He is being bigger than everybody right now. And again, you're supposed to treat stars differently. I don't feel that way. I look at us all as equals, and I don't like his behavior today.
Scathing.
Floor's yours.
Yeah. So there's one thing. Like I am totally open to criticism. I enjoy it actually, but the problem is if you're going to be so ill-informed and I don't want to say obtuse, but that's what you're being. I didn't even leave the show. You don't even pay attention.
I said I don't even like the thought of you leaving the show.
I was there for Feel Good Friday. I finished up the show, and then I golfed with partners at a charity event. So any of this, what did you say, entitled, and any of this other stuff.
You remind me of the David Bakhtiari of ESPN Wisconsin.
You're a jack blank, is the best way I can put it. And I do have to give Kyle and Norty credit because I heard it, and they both knew that you were being an idiot. Now, should they have defended me more? Yeah, probably.
Oh, okay. Wow. All right. Maybe I do see maybe that diva coming out. Defended you more. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, he wants everyone to bow down. Old Tauschi. See, this is what I'm talking about. Entitled. Defend me more, please. I'm Mark Tauscher.
Well, because I didn't leave. I don't understand. Like, there's not like it's not my truth, your truth, this other truth. This is actually facts. Like, hey, I didn't leave. I was on the show. If you listen, I finished the show up, and for you to somehow go after me for something that didn't even happen, I don't know how else to defend myself. So the whole thing was just complete lunacy. And matter of fact, I would like for you, and I don't know if you have the power to do this, I'd like for you to strip that from your podcast because it's so insane.
Scrub it from the record.
You know what I'll do, Tausch? I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry that I besmudged your name.
That was so genuine.
I have to admit that means literally nothing. So I'm okay. I'm fine. I have not lost a wink of sleep over it. Again, the only thing that was just kind of weird or I thought interesting was when Tommy Olson texted me and said, hey, what is going on, blah, blah, blah. And I'm looking at I have no clue. And then I have to go back and listen, and I hear what you guys are doing, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't know. I don't understand Ben Broad. I mean, I understand you. Trust me, I know you better than I really probably should. I just don't. I can't fathom why you would pick that battle. There's plenty of other stuff that you could get after me about. That one?
Tausch, I'm actually hearing you talk now. I'm realizing what I got myself into even more working with Benny Brust. But also, do you know what dry snitching is? Because what Tom Olsen did was dry snitching. Because Tom texts you, basically say, "Did you hear what happened? Did you see what's going on?" That's called
this is
dry snitching. Dry snitching is where you. But
this is my point, right,
straight
Kyle?
up. You just kind of say, "Hey, like." What's going on?
So and so said this.
I mean, and then if you ask Tom, I just asked if he heard. I didn't ask if it was true.
Oh, that's fair. I have to admit, I'm going to add that into my vernacular.
Dry snitching?
Jason will really like that. He'll understand it.
I'm going to start using that a lot more. Yeah, that's good stuff.
Old T, I'm 0-2 against your kids in Are You Smarter Than Ben Brust? Thanks for hanging on. Yeah, I don't apologize. I do make stuff up, and that was an instance that I definitely made something up.
Yeah, you did, and you know what, Benny? I think I'll accept your apology, but not till next week.
Well, I look forward to talking to you next week. Listen to Tausch on Wilde and Tausch across these very stations from 9 to noon. Talk to you later, Tausch. That's Old T. He doesn't say goodbye. Yeah. That's why I love him. He's like, I said my piece and I'm out.
I need to just observe this quick in Tausch's response. He said, besmirch twice, obtuse, umbrage, and lunacy. That should be Tauschi the thesaurus. My goodness, that vernacular he's got in his pocket.
Did you not hear what I said before I ripped him? I was like, yeah, he's one of the staples of the station. I think he's really good.
Man,
but I won't stand for the work quality in which he did everything right for. But since he called me obtuse, what were the other words?
Besmirched his name, called you obtuse, the umbrage of it, and lunacy.
If you can't beat me and Are You Smarter Than Ben Brust, something's wrong with you. And it's time to play that coming up next in 2 minutes. 800-990-3776. That's Are You Smarter Than Ben Brust coming up in 2 minutes. Let's go with caller. I was trying to do something. Tauschi, 65. What was his number in college?
Still up there. I don't know if we're going to do those.
Let's do caller 7. 800-990-3776 to play Are You Smarter Than Ben Brust? You get 15 questions in 90 seconds to get as many answers correctly. Brad Nortman will be giving the questions. Kyle Wallace will be the supervisor.
I got fired from asking the questions because I gave the answer last week.
Yes, that's exactly what happened. You can't be giving the answers to the callers.
Never heard of it.
ESPNWisconsinContest.com, Kyle. 800-990-3776. Caller 9, Are You Smarter Than Ben Brust? Coming up next in 2 minutes.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. If you're in the market for a full-size 8-passenger SUV, look no further than the Defender 130. And with the Defender 90, the 110, and this 130, there's luxury and the right size for everyone. Right, Sammy? And now is the best time to take advantage of a great offer like this.
For a limited time, get 3.9% special APR rate for up to 60 months on new 2023 Defenders at Land Rover Waukesha. Go to LandRoverWaukesha.com.
Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Alex Strofe.
This Badger Minute brought to you by UW Credit Union. For every stage of life, UW Credit Union is here for every you. Proudly serving Wisconsin for over 90 years. Hop in or hop online at uwcu.org to join. The number 1 nationally ranked Wisconsin women's volleyball team remains undefeated following a thrilling 5-set victory over number 3 Florida on the road on Sunday. The Badgers fell in each of the first 2 sets but won 3 in a row to take the victory over the Gators, who beat the Badgers at the Kohl Center last year. Associate head coach Gary White following the win on Monday.
So we're about a third of the way through the season, which is kind of crazy to think about. Now we've got 20 more matches in conference against, looking at it, some of the top teams in the country. I mean, the Big Ten Conference kind of establishes that with volleyball.
Right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, pay as low as $19 a month per window or $75 per month on patio doors. Visit PellaWI.com.
They say seeing is believing, and when you see what's inside at American Place Casino, you better believe you're gonna love it. Because when it comes to amazing gaming, we're a real game changer. With the most exciting of table games like blackjack, craps, and roulette, the newest slots, a sportsbook, restaurants, bars, and more. So if you're ready for excitement, we'll see you soon. American Place Casino. Change the game.
Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537.
Hey, this is Gabe Neitzel. You're listening to 94.5 ESPN, WKTI and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, presented by Bud Light, the official beer of the NFL. It's time to play America's favorite game. Of course, it's about me. Are you smarter than Ben Brust?
For those of you who say Ben Brust is an idiot, here's your chance to be proven right. It's time to play Are You Smarter Than Ben Brust? Presented by Water Joe. No off flavors, no sugar, and no additives that Ben doesn't know how to pronounce. Just water and caffeine, that's all. Hydrate and energize with Water Joe.
It is Are You Smarter Than Ben Brust? Let's welcome in Al and Racine. Al, welcome to the program.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Have you beat me before?
I've never played before. I think I will, though.
Hey!
I like
Shots
it.
fired.
Confident.
All right, Al, here's where I got to leave, and I'm going to turn over to Brad for the questions. Kyle and Chris, they will be monitoring. No funny business. Brad, read those questions quick for my guy, Al. He's going to need the help.
Yes, he will. Glad to do it, Al.
Right.
Welcome to the program.
And real quick, 15 seconds, 90 questions. You're allowed to say skip or pass, and whatever you don't get to in those 90 seconds, Brad can come back to those. Tie goes to the runner, so if you get more than me or Ty, you will win a $50 gift card. Sound good, Al?
Sounds good.
All right, I'm out.
Yeah.
He's Ben Brust, headphones off, walking out of the studio. And might I add, on the Are You Smarter Than Ben Brust questions this week, last week there were some, hey, was Ben looking out the window at the... Hey, remember that?
I saw him. Yeah, I saw him behind your shoulder.
So this week, the questions are bolded and the answers are non-bolded. So we're going to try to see if we can really get them
Look at that planning
going.
ahead. I'm ready to hear this.
All right, Al. Are you ready to answer these questions? Are you ready to beat our boy Ben Brust?
Ready to start the clock?
Ready to roll.
Excellent. And we're going to start in 3, 2, 1. What is the root word of the word indecision?
Pass.
What geographical system helps you find a position on the map using longitude and latitude lines?
GPS.
What 4 presidents are carved into Mount Rushmore?
Pass.
What country is closest to the Great Barrier Reef?
Australia.
On what part of the plant does photosynthesis take place?
The stem.
How many bones are in the human body?
112.
What is the name for what happens when a seed sprouts?
Say again?
What is the name for what happens when a seed sprouts?
Pass.
Color, density, volume, and mass are properties of what?
Oh, here you go.
Matter.
What is the name of the pig in Charlotte's Web?
Charlotte.
What is it called when a character goes through a transformation journey in a story?
Counts if he gets it.
Transformative.
Okay. That's the end of it.
Yep,
Chris,
I got 2 for Al.
2 for Al. Okay, those were some challenging questions.
Listen, I don't know what 5th grader getting them questions right.
Yeah,
Them ain't no 5th grade questions.
And these are actually a combination of 1st through 5th grade questions.
Listen,
my goodness.
Listen, I don't know what American education has changed, but this ain't no 1st through 5th grade, if you ask me.
Education has really stepped up since we were in 1st through 5th grade.
My goodness, I don't think I can say the word germination back in the 1st grade.
Have we called in Ben Brust?
We have called in Ben Brust.
Okay, he's walking through the door.
He's entering in the building. Ben, you ready?
Give me a second, guys. Jeez, I haven't got my headphones on.
Supposed to be a pro. Come on
right.
now.
You've done this thousands of times.
I stand outside the studio, and you signal me back in. I do a little light yog, so.
Yog.
Yeah. Let me take a sip of water, but how did Al do?
He got 2.
2?
Big 2.
Did you get through a lot of questions?
We got through question number 11.
You're not allowed. Don't tell me that from moving forward.
What the?
But
you can't do that.
Why would you ask that?
Well, because I'm gonna beat 2.
No. Why would you try to set us up? We're new to this.
Huh? Let's do this.
I wouldn't have even told him how many he needed.
That's true. Make him work for it.
Last time we tell you.
You guys can't. You guys are just. Exactly.
Yeah,
you guys.
Nice.
Good drop in, Chris. I am a douche sometimes. My point to you guys is, you shouldn't give me anything that I want. Make me work for it.
But we trust you. We trust you. You're
That
set
is
us up
your
like that.
that is your mistake. That is your mistake. You guys got to start learning quick.
Okay.
I'm
see how it is.
learning.
All right, Ben. Are you ready for your 90 seconds?
Yes.
Okay. In 3, 2, 1. What is the root word of the word indecision?
In.
What geographical system helps you find a position on the map using longitude and latitude lines?
Protractor?
What are the 4 presidents carved into Mount Rushmore?
Pass.
What country is closest to the Great Barrier Reef?
Australia.
On what part of the plant does photosynthesis take place?
In the root.
How many bones are in the human body?
182.
What is the name?
No, let's go 214.
Okay.
I can go back. That's how it works. Shut up, Kyle.
All right. What is the name for what happens when a seed sprouts?
Poppy. Pow. I don't know. Pass.
Close. Color, density, volume, and mass are properties of what?
Weight.
What is the name of the pig in Charlotte's Web?
Pass.
What is it called when a character goes through a transformation journey in a story?
Pass.
What do the stripes on the U.S. flag represent?
The 13 original colonies.
A grouping of lines within a poem is called what?
Haiku.
Who is known to be the father of the Constitution?
Let's go with Jefferson.
At what time zone is the state of Montana in?
Mountain.
Which one did you pass? What 4 presidents are carved into Mount Rushmore?
Washington, Lincoln, Jefferson, and Adams.
This was close.
Did I get more than 2?
You did. You got 3.
You made it. You made it through more questions. Yeah, that was
2-0 in
you
my
were
Kyle
laughing
Brust
off
and
two.
Nortman debut.
Like, I'll get 2, and then it took to the final 10 seconds.
He barely had.
And I got Kyle yapping in my. Shut the heck up.
Some of those deserved a response.
No. You guys can laugh at my responses, but when I say something on the bones, I'm allowed to go back.
I don't know what to believe.
Are we changing rules now?
Go back and listen to Are You Smarter Than Ben
I can
Brust?
tell you were the type of kid that made your own rules up as you go just to win.
I was the youngest child.
Okay. Now we go back and go through the answers.
All right. This was tough. I ain't gonna lie.
It was tough. There were tough questions.
This is not 1st through 5th grade. This is like
those are tough.
8th.
This is what I've been preaching my whole life.
No, this is tough.
All right. What is the root word of the word indecision? Your answer was in. That is not correct. Decide.
Okay.
Decide is the root of it. Okay.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, post it does. Yeah.
What is the geographical system that helps you find a position on a map using longitude and latitude lines? Coordinate system. You said protractor.
Yeah. What did you?
I thought there was like something with a globe, like where you could.
No. Explain. Let him explain. Something with the globe and a protractor. Come on, let me hear you explain.
No. I'm not saying it was a protractor. It was just like I thought there was some device you would use on a globe to figure out coordinates.
But a protractor. That's the
a protractor.
A protractor. That's what it's called.
You're gonna come at me. You better get it right.
I'm just saying. I'm just so baffled by you saying a protractor.
I feel like
get used to it because I don't know some stuff.
I feel like you were thinking of like the sailors in the old days where they would like pull out the map in the undercarriage.
That's what I was. Thank you.
I mean, I'm not trying to
you
help
just
you, but
Slumdog Millionaire. My wrong answer.
Yes. All right. The 4 presidents carved into Mount Rushmore. We got Theodore Roosevelt, George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson.
I got 3 of 4. That should be brownie points.
I forget who you said for the 4th.
I said Adams.
Adams or Madison? Yeah.
I said Adams. Roosevelt was the right one. What country is closest to the Great Barrier Reef? Australia. You got that correct. On what part of the plant does photosynthesis take place? You said the root. takes place in the leaves, right? The green, right? Photosynthesis is when the sun absorbs.
That's a fifth grade question. But
Yeah.
we're so far removed from that.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. How am I supposed to remember that?
Yeah, not easy. How many bones are in the human body? There was a couple answers you shouted out.
Well, 214 was my final.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I didn't know you could do that. But
206.
Good to know.
Close.
Yeah, it was wrong either way, so just shut the heck up.
I'm just saying we're learning that you can make up rules. I'm just trying to figure it out here.
All right, what is the name for what happens when a seed sprouts? Germination. That one's kind of tough, actually.
Never would get that.
Did you know this?
Gun to my head.
I wouldn't have known that without seeing the
I'm
answer.
glad you guys are more truthful than my last partners, because my last two partners are like, oh, yeah, I would have gotten all these right.
No, I'm going to keep it, listen, because you never know when somebody might try to ask me to fill in or do something like that. And let me tell you, I ain't got time to be talking greasy just to embarrass myself.
Yeah, right.
So I'm going to keep it real all the time.
Yeah, it's like when you see the answer, you're like, okay, duh. But thinking it offhand is actually pretty tough. Color, density, volume, and mass are properties of matter. I forget what you said. Weight. Yeah, weight. I know Al got that right. What is the name of the pig in Charlotte's Web? You might have passed that one.
I did.
Yeah.
Who would know that? Like, who watching this movie, Charlotte's Web?
I just know that there was a
pig, right?
A spider and a chick.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the spider's name?
I don't know.
Charlotte.
Oh, there it
Charlotte's
is.
Web.
Charlotte's Web. Yeah, but Wilbur's the pig. Okay.
Yeah, Wilbur's
Yikes.
the pig. What is it called when a character goes through a transformation journey in a story? The answer is a character arc.
Yeah. I knew you said that because when I read it, I said,
Yeah. This actually impressed me. The stripes on a U.S. flag represent
come on.
what?
Everybody knows this.
Okay,
This was the easiest question on the list, was it not?
Yeah. I thought the Montana time zone one was pretty easy too, but we'll get to that. 13 original British colonies in America.
He didn't say original British colonies. I just want you to know that.
God.
He said
We're gonna be
13 original
sticklers?
colonies.
Are we gonna be tough graders?
I mean, there's a lot of colonies in different places.
That's true.
But I guess it did say U.S. flag, so I'll allow it.
A grouping of lines within a poem are called what? A stanza is the answer. I forget what you said.
Haiku?
Haiku.
What is a haiku?
That's just the one where you it's the easiest poem in the world because you just write like one word, then two words, then three words,
Oh, so
then two words.
you're trying to show out.
Yeah.
No, I'm not sure. It's the only poem I know.
A haiku.
I think a haiku starts with 1 and works like 2, 3, and then back down 2 to 1.
See,
I just said that.
You guys just gave me two different examples. You said the shortest poem in the world, and he just said, I don't even know.
Yeah, there is like a structure to it, but
I see why I was so happy to get out of elementary school. My goodness.
Who is known as the father of the Constitution? James Madison. James Madison.
You got to watch Hamilton for that one.
Yeah.
Big Hamilton fan, are you?
Oh, yeah. I've seen it once. I
would like to see it. I've never seen it.
It's good. It is
so
good. Finally, which time zone is the state of Montana?
You got to douche them when they're bragging about Hamilton, Chris.
Is that a brag?
I've seen Hamilton.
Let me just let you.
Who hasn't?
I saw
Besides you.
Hamilton on Disney Plus.
You
I didn't see it in person. I don't think we
Yeah.
deserve the douche on that one.
I saw it on Disney Plus too.
Thank you.
Making it available to the people.
Exactly. We haven't gone.
I thought you guys were like, in the first row,
in the theater.
Bravo!
Yeah.
Too broke for that.
Encore. What time zone is the state of Montana? Mountain Standard Time. And
There's my 3.
There's the 3.
Sorry, Al and Racine. We appreciate you.
I don't like when he wins.
Nobody does.
I don't like it either. We're 2-0.
I don't like when he wins.
Honestly,
I don't like it.
honestly, sometimes I don't like when I win either.
Yeah.
Because I'm really annoying about it, and I think the entire listening audience, I'd probably have like 2% of everyone listening is rooting for me to win. The other 98% are rooting for me to fall on my face.
I'm in that 98% now.
Most topics can be polarizing. I feel like this is not polarizing at all. This is united front.
100%. Because the thing is, you came in here and said, 2, ring it up, victory, and you barely got it. And you act like you just ran right through it with ease how excited you are about the victory.
Okay, that might be true.
In Ben's defense, I will say that Al was very confident as well, saying that he was going to smoke Brust.
He did.
So,
He did talk some smack. Chris, Benny Believer. I have 3% now.
Benny Believer.
There's Benny Believers out there. You better believe it.
Who created that?
Benny Believers.
Okay.
The Princeton Club is amazing. I went there this morning to get my workout in with my guy, Maddie, and I think the best part about the Princeton Club is how they reinvest in the health clubs, right? So when you go to a health club, you're like, is this the best one I have? When you're at the Princeton Clubs, you know you're at the best facility, so you have everything you need. You don't have to think about what else is there. You can focus on the task at hand. With clean health clubs, free childcare with your membership, they're always reinvesting back in the club for you to thrive and find your better tomorrow. I love the personal training, but they offer something for everybody. So figure out what your passion is. If you've been thinking about getting back on the horse, just do it, right? They will encourage you. the community atmosphere at the clubs makes it want to, just continue to develop your health and your well-being. Again, that's the Princeton Club in Madison. They're reinvesting in the west side. They just did some stuff with functional strength training on the east side. Here in New Berlin, the one I go to, they're amazing. Join the Princeton Club for a better tomorrow. For a better future for Jordan Love, should he slide? Matt LaFleur told him he should. Here's what Jordan Love had to say. We'll tell you that on the other side. This is Kyle Brust and Nortman, presented by Bud Light.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light.
Yeah, let them do it. I ain't doing it.
You're not going to hurt our feelings.
Come on.
Just mine.
Homer, come on.
Yo, fuck, I should be doing this time. I should be 2-6. That good enough for you? You need any more?
That's fair.
Need any more? One?
Us?
Yeah.
Y'all
2, 3, 4.
You're all the same.
There we
Nobody's
go.
as good as me.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
We do have some delays along southbound 43, starting around Silver Spring, all the way down past Keefe. Southbound on 41, backing up just north of Capitol Drive, and that takes you all the way down to about Mayfair Road. Westbound 94, a little bit backed up from 27th Street through to about Mitchell Boulevard. Traffic is brought to you by the Waukesha Gun Club, featuring traps, skeet ranges, and sporting clay courses over 98 acres. Just 1 mile north of I-94 at exit 295. Learn more at WaukeshaGunClub.org. And check out the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Tonight, mostly cloudy, breezy, slight chance for showers with a low of 60. Tomorrow, partly cloudy and warm, slight chance for thunderstorms with a high of 80. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Keep the good times rolling every Sunday with GKB founder and CEO Craig Karmazin on Sunday Karma.
No rump shaking. Did you say that off the air, Kyle? You got to say that on the air. It was not rump shaking. It was not anything inappropriate. It just was totally irrelevant.
Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin.
Because isn't that how GMs get chosen, right? You trade up, in my opinion, cost the team a chance to win a championship.
Sundays from 10 to noon on ESPN Wisconsin.
Woo! I am thirsty today. Definitely going to need a cold one. There's the one. Going with Blake's Hard Cider again this week and checking back with our guy, Sean Gerber. Sean's here to tell us all about the Blake's products you have to be drinking this fall.
You'll find Sorta Pop out there, which is an NA product that has a little bit more flavor than seltzer. They're going to be able to find another Imperial Cider or 8% cider from us called American Berry. They'll be able to find the original, which is a classic hard apple cider. They'll also be able to find Jam Session, which is a low-calorie, low-sugar version of our very popular Triple Jam cider. We're bringing back some classic seasonals like our caramel apple and our apple lantern. And then we're going to do what we're calling a Legends of the Fall pack, and that's going to have different ciders from different portions of Blake's history.
Thanks again to Sean for joining me and keeping us up to date on what Blake's has going on. Now that the seasons are changing, you know there's only one thing to do. Keep that fridge stocked.
Kevin Moret here from Mentality Men's Health. Guys, did you know that the stored belly fat reduces your free testosterone? The more the belly grows, the harder it is to drop, mostly because of the decrease in free T. It's a vicious cycle that men are losing, and unfortunately, everyone can see it. Mentality breaks that cycle with semaglutide, an industry-changing weight loss medication that can help you lose up to 15% of your body weight while preserving your testosterone. Join our over 20,000 clients to look and feel the way you deserve. In Milwaukee, go to lowtusa.com. That's lowtusa.com.
Men's wedding bands made from whiskey barrels and meteorites.
Welcome to Kessler's.
Get to and from every home game in Green Bay this football season safely. Milwaukee Broadhouse, Jack's American Pub, and Wanakee Golf Course all offer transportation on game days. They've got bus services with private restrooms and all-you-can-drink packages. Book your round-trip ride from any of these locations and get complimentary access to an all-you-can-eat and drink tailgate at the bar on Holmgren Way. Make your game day experience a VIP experience with your official ride to Green Bay. Visit MilwaukeeBroadhouse.com to book your trip today.
Hey, this is Bo stepping in for Ridgetop Larry, here to tell you about Ridgetop Exterior's most affordable payment options, including no interest and low interest financing. For your free estimate, visit ridgetopexteriors.com. Roofing, siding, windows, and doors, visit ridgetopexteriors.com.
Seriously injured? Call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
For general contest rules, visit espnwisconsincontest.com.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
It's electric.
It's a new era of Are You Smarter Than Ben Brust? 2-0 in the early days of Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, presented by Bud Light, which is brewed to be delicious and easy to drink. So when the little things in life are hard, like admitting to yourself that I'm 2-0 in Are You Smarter Than Ben Brust, enjoy a nice Bud Light, the official beer of the NFL. The game may go into overtime, or it may take forever like it did last night in the Steelers-Browns game. And you got a little extra time to enjoy a nice, fresh Bud Light. Pick it up at your local retailer. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch. This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman. To the electric slide.
Oh, I like
Don't get too excited.
I mean, it does feel like I'm at a wedding, I will say. You know, and a lot of uncoordinated white people are dancing, Kyle.
Yeah.
This is a classic white people wedding dance
No,
song.
it is. Let me see y'all do the little step. How do you do it? How do you know how to do it?
How do I do what?
The electric slide.
Don't you have to
It's like a little bit to the left.
Let me see y'all slide. Come on, let me see y'all
how you
slide.
slide.
I don't know.
No, it's like choreographed, isn't it?
I thought it was like you have to like do the move. Yeah, but I think that's lame. I think you should be able to just slide.
I don't know. I just know the cha-cha slide. To the left, to the left.
Oh, that's another good one.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I like your slide.
See, I knew you liked my slide. Brad's like, no, you got to do the choreography.
Yeah.
You got to do the lame white people
because
thing.
I have no rhythm with that, so I rely on the choreography. I rely on the strength in numbers.
You have to watch everybody else do it.
Like if everyone else is doing it, okay, I'm cool.
Do you find a little booze groove? Booze dancing? Is that is that when you get rid of the choreography?
Yeah, I would say that the creativity peaks in those moments.
Them hips don't lie when you get a little booze in you, huh? All right.
The feet get a little looser,
I
a little more athletic.
I like it.
Speaking of hips getting looser and a little more athletic, that is definitely Jordan Love in comparison to Aaron Rodgers. As a Aaron Rodgers fan, I will say it is refreshing to see the pocket collapse and Jordan Love have the ability to skate through and create yards with his feet. Now, he's not going to be Lamar Jackson, right? They're not going to do design runs for him because he's shown he has the ability to make the right throws so far early on in the season when in the pocket. Now, that being said, early in the first quarter, old boy went after, I think it was a linebacker, and he gained a couple extra yards by lowering his shoulder. Matt LaFleur had to talk to his young quarterback about what he should do in those situations. Hear this interaction.
Well, I told him right after the series, I said, hey, that was a hell of a run, but you don't have to be Superman. Just get down. And he fired right back and said, hey, I thought we needed some juice. I said, all right. So, like, it's a fine line of being smart, but also just bringing that energy. And he showed some fire after the run as well, which was pretty impressive in my opinion. So I thought, all in all, I was really pleased with just how he competed, how composed he was, how he led, and that is encouraging.
That was Matt LaFleur talking about his young quarterback, Jordan Love, after scrambling for a first down. Are you pro slide, or do you like the little, show him what's up?
All right, 9 times out of 10. Maybe 19 out of 20. I say quarterback.
Not 99 out of 100?
I want to leave a little bit of room for this kind of thing for our boy Jordan Love. But most of the time, I'm like, get down. It's not worth it. But guys, every once in a while, and this is coming from another, place on the field where it's a protected position, right? I'm a punter. I was protected. The quarterback's protected. Every once in a while, particularly for the quarterback, you want to remind your guys that there's just a little bit of dog in you, right? There's a little bit of, listen, I know I'm protected, but follow me as I do this. And I think that shouted leadership to me. I really do. I think he got a pulse for his team. The Packers were down at this point, and it was a little bit stagnant. It was 2 punts in a row. And then after this run, it sparked them on their way to scoring a touchdown. So to me, this shouts leadership, having a pulse for the team, knowing what they needed. Most of the time, slide and get down. But Jordan Love, he is most animated after runs like this, after he gets rattled a little bit in the open field. Rattled meaning he gets hit. And And I like to see it. I think he wants to remind his guys that there's some dog in him still.
I like it because you're trying to establish the identity of what this team is and the type of leader you're going to be. So in game number 2, taking off like that, and instead of running out of bounds, you put your foot in the ground, you try to cut upfield, and after you get tackled, you get up and you nod your head at the defender after you got that 24-yard scramble. What does your team do after that? He said we needed juice. Like you said, they went and they scored. They made plays after that. He may learn this lesson to say, okay, moving forward, I'll just slide. But you know what they saw after he got up? Same thing Matt LaFleur saw. They saw him bob his head. They got geeked up and amped up and said, oh, yeah, he feeling it. He feeling it. And that's all he needs to do is establish, I got y'all back. Y'all going to follow me, and I'm going to lead y'all to the touchdown. I'm going to lead y'all to the promised land of the Super Bowl. Maybe not this year, but eventually. But he's gaining the confidence of his teammates through his play. So that's why I like that he did it. Eventually, of course, he's going to slide. But for right now, he needed to prove to his team and show his team, listen, I'm in this just like y'all is. I'm not going to Peter pat out of bounds. I'm going to cut it upfield. I'm going to give y'all the juice, and I'm going to lead this team to the end zone.
I think you guys know what I'm going to say here. For the exact same reason.
Show some love to love.
Brad,
show some love to love.
So same reason Brad said 19 out of 20, 9 out of 10 times. What did we just witness? We witnessed the Colts quarterback get a concussion and have to leave the game, right? Like what you're too valuable. When you're that valuable, if you Kyle, is someone who wants to already anoint Jordan Love the guy, right? You want to marry him. You're like, he's the guy forever. You got to protect that asset. You got to. And if I'm Jordan Love, I haven't gotten my post-fifth year or extension contract, so I'm protecting myself at all costs because you know what? If he would have just picked up the first down and done something swaggy, I would have the same reaction if he lowered his shoulder. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's other ways to inspire a team than putting yourself at risk, which in a way is putting your team at risk because without Jordan Love, you know who's next? Sean Clifford. So all the hype that you have going on right now, trust me, did I love and enjoy it? Yes. Did I think it was smart? No. And if I was Matt LaFleur, my response wouldn't be, yeah, I understand. I'd be like, Jordan, you're too important. I appreciate what you mean for this team, but you should not do that ever again. You have to value yourself because you are valuable to this team. And so I am anti-slide. Or anti not sliding.
Do you think there's ever a time to do
nice
that? Though?
Double negative there.
Yeah, right. Because isn't this what we loved with Favre and Rodgers? Particularly Favre, when he would like throw a block or something like that. Granted, these are two guys that got injured from time to time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's a different era.
But Favre kept playing. He always played.
He kept on playing.
Let's
but we loved it about that.
But what did we learn about the new? What did we learn about the new players that Kyle keeps talking about? It's a little different,
a little bit softer. But that's why you should be excited, right, Brad?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think the last thing you want to be in an NFL locker room is soft. I mean, that is probably the worst adjective that you want to be labeled as. And I think every once in a while, for a quarterback to remind his team that I am not soft, I think is a positive thing.
He knows best. You know why? Because he played with a quarterback that didn't slide all the time. He played with a quarterback that actually lowered his shoulder. He played with
and it didn't work out that well for him long term.
What I'm saying,
it didn't work out that well for Cam Newton.
What I'm saying is, Brad, when you saw Cam get that extra yard and get up and do the Superman or do a first down, were you not on the sideline sitting there like, yeah, I ain't got to go out there?
Well, Brad's not the head coach or general manager worried about the future of his team. He's worried about winning the game.
But that's his teammate, though. So you can get excited. You can get your boys amped up. I'm telling you, it's about establishing this is what it's going to be. It's a new day in town, and I am the one in charge. I'm the captain now, as they said in that movie. I'm the captain now. And he's just showing the leadership that he has. And again, he's not going to do this forever. This was just to send a message to his teammates, his young teammates, that, okay, I feel you, Jordan. I'm right behind you. And they scored on the drive. The message was delivered, and it's going to pay dividends moving forward.
I just wish that Matt LaFleur didn't be like, yeah, okay, I see where you're coming from. Like, that's my problem with LaFleur, is he needs to take the onus of saying, all right, I understand where you're coming from. It was good that moment, and now you've showed this team what you're willing to do. But first quarter against Atlanta, is that really the spot to do it? Especially when you already gained the first down. Is that the spot?
I mean, debatably, but you're right though. I mean, this thing does drive coaches crazy. Even because when Cam did it, it's like, oh man,
because guess what, Brad?
Too hard of a situation. Now, easy does it.
Now that Jordan Love has done it once, and he's seen the reaction from fans and teammates, and his coach didn't really say, hey, don't do it ever again. If he gets the opportunity, what do you think he's going to do as a young quarterback?
He's going to be smarter.
No. Like you're just saying that, but based off behavior, what is he going to do?
No, he is. He understood what he saw in front of him. The reason why he cut back is because he felt like the angle he had, he could try to get around that guy. And if it was guys coming at him head on, then he would probably slide.
But when he cut back, he gave defenders time to come hit him.
But he got tripped up, and he would have slid eventually. But he saw the space, he saw the opportunity, and he seized it. And so, good job, J. Love, and good job, Matt LaFleur, talking about it, because it's just a great reminder of who our quarterback is. That's my quarterback. That's my man.
And that's what I was curious on. So there was one guy that he tried to make miss, and he almost did, right? I mean, he kind of like stumbled ahead another 3 yards. There's another 3 Atlanta Falcons coming his way. I wonder if he would have taken 2 more steps and slid. Or if he would have just went back to the end.
Of course, Kyle's going to say he wouldn't have done anything. He would have done everything right, no matter what.
He's done a lot right.
Bijan Robinson did all the way to the end zone.
He's done more right than wrong since he's been our starting quarterback.
That's true.
800-990-3776. Are you okay with Jordan Love not sliding? Or are you wanting him to slide to protect the future asset that you all believe that he may be? We'll continue to hit on that, plus a little KBN Academy. We're about to take you to school coming up next here.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light.
Did you play cans as a kid?
Cans?
Stop playing. Y'all know what cans is? Y'all know what cans is?
Can you say what cans is,
so y'all never took a basketball. You never had, have a soda or something like that. You crush the can, and then you put it on the ground, and then you walk about 10 feet the other direction, crush that can, put it in the ground, and you take a ball, and you try to hit the can with the ball. Are y'all
that sounds like a horrible game.
I don't worry about it. After 5 minutes,
don't be culturally insensitive.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
We do have some delays along southbound 41, stretching from Silver Spring on and off the brakes all the way to Mayfair Road. Westbound 94, pocket of heavy traffic basically from 27th Street to Mitchell Boulevard. Southbound on 43, slowing from Silver Spring down past Capitol Drive to just about Keefe. Traffic is brought to you by Evans Transportation in Delafield, where they provide customized logistics solutions to keep you and your business moving forward. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight, mostly cloudy, breezy, slight chance for showers, a low of 60. Tomorrow, partly cloudy and warm, a slight chance of thunderstorms with a high of 80. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN. Low of 60. Tomorrow, partly cloudy and warm, slight chance for thunderstorms with a high of 80. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
It's football season at Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas, featuring the best pool in history, Stadium Swim. 3 levels, 6 pools, and a 143-foot diagonal screen. Stadium Swim is America's favorite place to watch football. Located at Circa Resort and Casino, open 365 days a year, and it will be the place to be for Green Bay's first ever visit to Las Vegas. Plus, the ESPN Wisconsin team will be live on site. Book your stay today at circalasvegas.com. That's circalasvegas.com.
Hey, it's ESPN Wisconsin's Ben Brust. Men can be their own worst critics, especially as we get older and compare our current self to the younger version. The experts at Forward Healthy Lifestyles in Germantown help men with testosterone optimization, regenerative medicines, heart health screenings, weight loss, and yes, sexual enhancement services. Forward Healthy Lifestyles can offer regained energy and endurance, more muscle and tone, enhanced performance, joint therapies, and more. Change your life and stop comparing who you are now to who you used to be. Visit forwardhealthylifestyles.com for a free consultation.
Let's get the latest from Lambeau. This is your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Z-Bart of Greater Milwaukee. Want that mirror finish on your car? You need Z-Gloss by Z-Bart. Z-Gloss is a 3-layer ceramic coating that not only gives your car that mirror finish, it protects it from everything that Mother Nature can throw at it. Visit zbart.com for more information.
After the Packers defense gave up 200 yards rushing to the Falcons in Sunday's loss in Atlanta, Matt LaFleur said his defense got shredded after the game. And on Monday, he echoed more of the same.
I think schematically, they presented a few issues for us. I think you combine that with 2 really good running backs, and we had a couple missed tackles. But I think there's things that we've got to adapt and adjust to.
The defense will look to get back on track on Sunday afternoon as they open up their home schedule. Kickoff is set for noon against the New Orleans Saints on Sunday at Lambeau Field.
This has been your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Z-Bart of Greater Milwaukee.
The Bog in Saukville is Ozaukee County's best golf experience. 18 championship holes designed by the legendary golfer Arnold Palmer, settled amongst 250 acres of beautiful private land. The Bog caters to golfers of all skill levels, offering a golf experience unlike any other. Come enjoy the finest golf greens in Wisconsin, and after your round, enjoy a bite to eat in our restaurant or out on our new patio bar overlooking the 18th green. It's time to golf, Wisconsin. It's time to enjoy the Bog.
Cousin Subs just got better. With our newest mobile app update, we've made it easier to purchase your favorite subs and sides with Apple or Google Pay, and the ability to make split payments. And that's not all. Can we get your digits? Sign up today for our new text messaging program to unlock exclusive coupons and offers at cousinsubs.com or via our app. Cousin Subs. We believe in better.
You're listening to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Down, down, do your dance, do the Cupid chain. Down, down, do your dance, do your dance. Down, down, do your dance, do your dance.
I guess we're playing group wedding songs on Kyle, Brust, and Nortman. You can see on stream on Twitter at ESPN Milwaukee or on YouTube. Subscribe to ESPN Milwaukee. Kyle's doing a little Cupid shuffle right now.
I mean, Kyle shot up out of his chair. No hesitation when the song came on.
Hey, last segment, so I thought I'd put it on for him.
I'm not going to lie. You don't have any rhythm.
Ooh. I'm in a contained space. I'm moving this way. How you want me to do it? I get a little loose.
Now you look a little looser. Untuck the shirt. Okay, by the way, I have no rhythm, so next time I say that you don't have rhythm, just snap back.
I'll prove it. You know, as a black man, you can't tell us we don't have no rhythm. That's offensive.
Well, that's why I did it, because I want to see what you got.
I know. I got a little bit. I ain't no dancer.
I was expecting more of a response out of you. I thought it'd be a little more.
You already quit dancing.
I'm trying to talk and keep.
Try and dance and talk.
Better than I could do.
Let's go to school. KBN Academy time.
In radio, our goal's pretty simple.
Just so you know, you really suck.
Have an A show or an F show.
Hey, I'll decide who sucks around here.
The same goes for topics in this next segment. This is the KBN Academy.
Those that can't do, teach.
And it's presented by Circa Sports. Play the Circa Million and Circa Survivor with $14 million in guaranteed prizes only at Circa Sports. Enter in Vegas. Play from anywhere. Visit circasports.com for details. We are your professors, Kyle Wallace, Brad Nortman, Ben Brust. Going to give out some statements, but we can only give A's. We can only give F's. There's no in between. So let's get right to it. Jaden Reed, the second-round draft pick for the Green Bay Packers in 2023, had 2 touchdowns, and the Packers lost to the Falcons. A or F, Reed will be the best player in this year's draft class.
Ooh, that's a spicy one. I'm going to go with, looking at the draft class now, I am going to go with an A. I'm going to go with an A. I think that he's already shown his ability and comfort in the system and be able to produce. That's more than all the rest of the draft picks can say. You've got Lucas Van Ness, Musgrave, Tucker Kraft, Dontavian Wicks. I mean, who else is really going to be competitive for that? Unless Lucas Van Ness is a late bloomer, but you can't argue with the results and how dangerous he is already. Give me an A for that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a really easy A for Jaden Reed. We knew coming out how electric he could be, not only just offensively out the slot, but also as a punt returner. So I think Jaden Reed already having those 2 touchdowns, and we saw him in preseason make some impact plays. I think Jaden Reed is the easy yes. And also, can I just say, good job, Goody, for back-to-back years and looking like you have pretty good draft classes that are going to contribute to this roster. So shout out to Goody and shout out to Jaden and shout out to the Packers, who will be the Super Bowl champions during some point in the next 4 years.
Yeah, I'm an F here. I just think this is a little prisoner of the moment. I like Jaden Reed, but did you know that Rashawn Gary was like barely anything in 2019? He barely had snaps, and I think like it's just, to me, I'd rather say like, hey, Lucas Van Ness, before getting hurt, he made some plays. He showed some promise with what you'd want to bring.
This year or overall?
For the draft class forever.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was for this year.
I still think so. I still think so. He's already comfortable with the speed of the NFL. He's already a playmaker. He's only going to grow from here.
I think he's good. If I'm sorry, I may not have been listening.
Lucas
that well.
Musgrave?
No, Musgrave is going to be the best player in the draft class. That's
going to say it's hard for rookie tight ends to make a splash, and you guys were all. I was like, am I crazy for a second?
No, Luke Musgrave will be the best. But that's my whole point. When you look up and down this draft class, Goody did an excellent job. 2 of his players in the draft class have already have touchdowns, and Luke Musgrave fell, and he would have had one as well. So great job by Goody. And no, I'm gonna move. And actually, I should say Anders, but I won't.
Anders. You can't call him if you don't know how to say.
I'll call him.
We have a specialist on our show.
Yeah,
you have to respect all specialists.
Okay, I'm sorry, Anders.
Moving on with the KBN Academy. The NFL has filed a grievance against the NFL Players Association over advising running backs to fake injuries for leverage. ARF, running backs should be paid more.
You know, this is going to sound strange coming from a player. I'm going to go with an F. I'm going to go with the running backs should be paid what the market dictates they should be paid. And
sounds like an investment guy.
That's right. It's a free market, baby. It's free market. I don't know what you expect them to do. What are you going to create some artificial floor for the running back market? There's just a certain nature to each position. I wish punters were paid more. Pay the punters more. If we're going to talk about the running backs, pay the punters.
I haven't gone into Pro Football Reference and looked at your contracts yet.
Yeah, well, it's there.
Were you paid what you were worth?
I think so.
All right, then. So
then what are you complaining about?
Exactly. I'm not. That's what I'm saying.
Punters more.
That's what I'm saying. Like if we're going to be talking about running backs getting paid more, why not everyone get paid more?
Okay,
so
all
it's
right.
free market,
All
and there's only so many dollars you can go some places, and there's a reason why it's going to quarterbacks and offensive linemen and DNs because in today's NFL they're just more valuable. Now you need a good running back, but there's just more of them, right? So to me, let the free market decide.
Some reason I'm riding with you on that one. I think it's an F2. And like you said, free market. I mean, I'm not going to pay you if I don't need to pay you. They're a dime a dozen when it comes to these running backs. Now, some are more elite than others. Everybody isn't built the same. But at the end of the day, you can draft a guy in the first round and pay him probably like $8 million or something like that, or $4 to $8 million. Early, if you draft him early, I'm not sure exactly how much Bijan is making. And you're going to be saving yourself a lot more money.
Yeah, I'm an F2. I mean, even if you just look at, there's a ton of different examples, but yesterday, Nick Chubb went out, right? And the Cleveland Browns are built to run the football. That's been their identity. Jerome Ford comes in and has like a 69-yard run. And he before that, it was like he had 59 total yards his entire career. So I think that just speaks to the fact that, like, I could name countless examples. James Cook, second year out of Buffalo, 123 yards. Like they get rid of a bunch of guys from last year, and boom, you plug and play. So I think what the market dictates is what you should be paid. That's all we got for KBN Academy. Because coming up next, Craig Karmazin of Sunday Karma, 10 to noon. He made the statement back in June that the Packers should move on from David Bakhtiari. We put it on Twitter at KBN ESPN. You can interact with us there as we put it out. Craig Karmazin said Packers should trade David Bakhtiari. Was he right? This was back in June. 66% of people say he was right. We'll hear from the man himself as he joins us. Coming up next on KBN, presented by Bud Light.
You're listening to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN.
I was about to go get on the highway, and I had the bubble guts, Kyle. Ooh. So it was either get on the highway and gut it out. And this is the first time in my life I've ever had to do this. I did not get on the highway.
No, you didn't.
I went straight, and then I went left into a industrial area, and I squatted like a dog.
No, you didn't.
And I pooped.
Wait, time out, Ben. There were so many other options.
There were not. It was life or death.
Presented by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. Yeah, they're football guys, but they don't shy away from the big topics of the day.
I think black licorice is like being left-handed.
Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Also sponsored by American Family Insurance.
I think it's the same percentage of people like black licorice that are left-handed.
You're partially left-handed.
I'm not left-handed. No,
if you don't left-handed.
Right, if you don't.
Weekdays 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN and available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
A big anniversary diamond is one twice as big as the one in her engagement ring.
Welcome to Kessler's.
An ESPN Radio Extra Point.
with Chris Canty.
The Saints, they've got some players down there now. And so that's one of the teams that we have to watch out for. I know we've got 3 teams that are 2-0 in the NFC South, but they're the only team that feels like a real 2-0. I don't know that I'm buying into the Bucs, and I'm certainly not buying into the Atlanta Falcons just yet. But the New Orleans Saints, with the way that they play defense, they've gone 10 straight games holding opponents under 20 points. Like, it's unbelievable. So now that you have competent quarterback play in Derek Carr, and you've got a defense that can pressure the passer, this is going to be a tough out for some teams. Derek Carr, to me, right now, is the best quarterback in the NFC South. Now, he might not have the stats to back that up. Desmond Ridder and Baker Mayfield seem to have gotten out to better starts, but over the long haul, over a 17-game regular season, I think those guys regress back to the mean, and Derek Carr gets back to what we've seen from him from the majority of his career since he came into the league in 2014.
At the Home Depot, Saturdays are about 2 things. Getting ready for company with the Samsung Family Hub Plus refrigerator. And football. That's right, Kirk Herbstreit. Search for recipes, check out scores, or even stream the game to the screen at the same time, so you never miss a second of the action. Which means you can make your famous buffalo chicken dip and have more time for football. Upgrade your Saturday with Samsung and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
What's it like to be one of the most sought-after basketball players in the nation?
Top 20 recruit. Say hello to Billy Preston.
You turn into a star damn near.
Preston.
We want Billy.
Until
somebody had called the NCAA anonymously.
The federal probe has turned up widespread fraud and corruption in college basketball.
Listen to The Bag Game from 30 for 30 podcasts.
We all got mud on us, man. All of us.
Buckle up. It's all systems go at Potawatomi. Plug in to high wattage play and you could win an all-electric BMW i7. Play now through September with your club card. Prize drawings on Thursdays. There's a shocking $800,000 in total prizes on the line, including the luxury BMW i7. It's time to electrify your drive. Only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. More info at paysbig.com/BMW. Must be 21 years old and a club member to play.
Hi, it's John Reitz from Great Midwest Bank, and you gotta love finding change in the junk drawer, or even better, a 20 in your laundry or pants pocket, right? But the best source of extra cash may be in the walls of your home. All right, wait. Now, put down the sledgehammer and tap into the value of your house by setting up a home equity line of credit and experience a state of tranquility, knowing funds are there when you need them. Get started at greatmidwestbank.com. Great Midwest Bank, your simply local equal housing lender.
Hey, this is Bo stepping in for Ridgetop Larry, here to tell you about Ridgetop Exterior's most affordable payment options, including no interest and low interest financing. For your free estimate, visit ridgetopexteriors.com. Roofing, siding, windows, and doors, visit ridgetopexteriors.com.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
I'm feeling alright, baby. I'ma have the best freaking night of my life.
He's got to be gone. He can't be on this team.
Why?
Get him off this team immediately. You have a guy who is theoretically your leader, right? Your veteran guy who's been there the longest, saying, I'm going to show up for as many things as I have to get paid, and then I'm not going to come to any of them. That's like one of our leaders in the company saying, I'm going to use all my sick days, even if I'm not sick.
That was Craig Karmazin on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, which you could hear morning 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN. Nostra Karmazin, I guess, and we're happy to be joined by Craig here on Kyle, Brust, and Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin.
Wait, now that was me in the preseason. That wasn't
June
after
2nd. June 2nd.
That wasn't after week 2. Now let's make sure that it's clear that wasn't after the Falcons game.
Well, my favorite part about that clip is Chewy being like, "What?" And then I'm listening to Green Bay Game Day pregame show, and he's like, "Cut his ass! Get David Bakhtiari out of here!" And so just the transformation now. Craig, I want to ask you this because you called it back in June, right? You made this proclamation. The Packers are kind of hamstrung right now because he's on the team. They've paid him. Do you just write it out? Is he worth it at this point?
So I love David Bakhtiari. And a big part of also, if they had done what I did, you know what else would happen?
You would have traded him to the Jets?
Aaron Rodgers would still be healthy, and the Packers would be getting a first-round pick instead of a second-round pick, which was my other side of this. So,
see, the Achilles thing is tough, though, because if you're getting older, that's due to go if it's going to go.
And this is the exact reason why I said that I didn't think he was being genuine when he was talking about it, because he had this other motive.
You can't take it back, though.
No, I didn't. No, he's right. He was right. Like, Aaron Rodgers got hurt, and the first thing I thought was like, oh my gosh, Craig was right. This is terrible. And then now you got David Bakhtiari just being a nuisance in the locker room, just a problem. Just like, my goodness, Craig was actually right.
Thank you. But, I mean, I don't have an issue with David Bakhtiari at all. He's just a leader, and this is a new regime and a new organization and a new quarterback. So I think you have a chance for right now as a head coach to set your culture in a way you never did when Aaron Rodgers was there, right? When Aaron Rodgers was there, Brad, I mean, you've been in NFL locker rooms. I never have been. How much is a head coach going to really set the culture while Aaron Rodgers is there? This to me felt like his opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, especially with a guy like Aaron Rodgers, who's a dominant personality and who's been there way before LaFleur was there. You're in a tough position to really implement your identity and your culture. You need to almost be responsive to Aaron Rodgers and try to acclimate together. But this felt like it was supposed to be a clean sweep, a totally fresh chapter across the board. And Bakhtiari is the one guy of the old regime that has stayed on the team. And I feel like there is a little bit of a disconnect between where the team wants to go and where David Bakhtiari wants to go. I mean, at this point, it seems like, so first of all, Ben has never seen Back to the Future. Have you seen Back to the Future?
Yes, of course.
Isn't that ridiculous that he hasn't seen it?
Yeah.
So you are proving that you can kind of make some predictions here as if you've been in the DeLorean yourself. How do you see this unfolding? Where do they go from here?
I mean, I think Bakhtiari is going to be a valuable part of this team. He's a great player. He's one of the best players on this team, and I think he'll probably play 8 or 9 games this year and play reasonably effectively.
Why only 8 or 9? Because of health and turf?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to take him for his word and for what Matt LaFleur said. And
see, now this is where like he started with, I like David Bakhtiari. It seems like there might be something where like you're protecting him here because
he is. I'm telling you, he is. Because he's tapped in. He's plugged into somebody.
The overarching feel is that like for what it is worth to protect Jordan Love and make sure that he's protected as a quarterback isn't worth the chance that you had to move on from him. So if they're like, it may not be worth having somebody.
Jordan Love doesn't need David Bakhtiari to protect him, which is why when I said this in the offseason, I mean, Jordan Love would be helped by David Bakhtiari. He's smart. He moves around the pocket well. He's not 40 years old.
I like this new Craig on Jordan Love. You need to follow suit. He was a hater before.
He's got a suit on. Doesn't mean I'm going to follow suit just yet. It's 2-game sample size. I'm not just going to give
let
in.
The man
Are
talk.
you kidding me?
How can you not? The suit talk.
Do you understand the receivers, the inexperience that he's dealing with, and what Jordan Love has done through 2 games?
Tell him, Craig.
I think it was. Look, I'm not saying that is not a positive, but there was a fourth quarter where he was 0 for 6 and the team struggled.
Did you watch Monday Night Football?
Have you
watch Monday Night Football?
Yes.
What of the 4 quarterbacks would you take over Jordan Love right now? None of them.
Again, I talked about this. I talked about this with Brad. Bryce Young is not put in a situation to be successful. It looks like he's throwing one-on-ones. The scheme that Matt LaFleur and Kyle Shanahan have put people in successful situations, and Jordan has been able to do that thus far. But I'm 2 games in. I'm not willing to profess my love. What are the skeletons that are going to come out when pressure comes?
Of course, there's going to be things, and we saw some of them in the fourth quarter. But did any of the 4 quarterbacks last night look better than Jordan Love?
Again,
and you have the gamut.
Again. Now we're doing the comparison of fourth-year guy or against rookies.
Prime Deshaun Watson. No, you had
Let
the
him
guys
have
you
it,
saw
Craig.
last night.
Keep going.
You had
Let him have it,
second-year Pickett.
Go,
you had
Craig,
first-year
go.
Bryce Young.
Go, Craig. Go.
I don't want Kenny. I don't want anything to do with Kenny Pickett. I'll take Jordan Love over Kenny Pickett. I'll do that. But I'm not going to say that Derek Carr is that Jordan Love's ahead of Derek Carr after 2 weeks. I just can't do that.
He is. You take him. Yes, he is.
You'll take him. You're just chirping over there. You're just on your perch.
No.
You bleed green and gold.
Just stop with all the Jordan Love hate.
There's no hate.
His name says. Just
you have to let it happen.
You're seeing it happen in front of your eyes.
It's clear he belongs.
Right? Yeah, and my point, getting back to Bakhtiari, is I think Jordan Love is going to be nimble enough and is going to, he's not going to be healthy or unhealthy because of Bakhtiari. He's going to be healthy or unhealthy because he doesn't slide or he doesn't, because he makes a choice.
Okay.
And I don't think that Bakhtiari makes that difference. And I think again, his value is not going to be higher now than it was in the offseason.
Especially because people are like, why would I want this guy? You don't know when he's ever going to be available.
Craig, are you concerned about what he's doing to this locker room? Are you just at all? I mean, the miscommunication that they're having, the frustration.
That was the thesis of your statement.
Like, that's what I said in June.
But you took a step back, saying, "Oh, well, he'll play 8 games." Like, do you still cut your losses and let him go at some point?
I don't know about the salary cap and all that, but I think what I know is about running a business, and I think absolutely he has an impact on culture. How could he not when he's one of your best players? And I don't know. Again, I haven't heard players come out and say, "Hey, David was really hurt, and we know if he could have gone, he would have gone." Now, maybe
because it's not true. His head coach can't even get his words together. It's not true.
The timeline is just horrendous.
So with all that being said, again, I don't know how, when you're trying to instill values into a team, how it couldn't be really hurtful to what Matt LaFleur and the overall organization is trying to do.
Well, and it's so true in the locker room, too, when you take a guy that's as noteworthy and known as David Bakhtiari, and then you use this situation to send a message. Happened a couple of times when I played for the Panthers. They actually got rid of Steve Smith to let Cam grow. And it was a shock, an absolute shock in the locker room. And Steve wouldn't sit things out. He was just a big personality, and they felt like in order for Cam to take the next step, you have to get rid of him, and everybody took notice.
Well, if you think about that now, if you're a player who's on the rise, are you going to play through something, or are you going to say, hey, this is what the All-Pro's done, who's gotten paid, who's being held
I want to
up
be
in the
there.
Organization? I mean, I think most teams take the form of their best player, which, I mean, after this week, you would have maybe said it was Jair coming into this week. Coming out of this week, maybe you're still saying it is David Bakhtiari, and that's who you're taking the form of.
Well, Craig, I got to take care of our partners, which is important because Palermo's has made over 100 million pizzas each year, and I think that's absolutely amazing, so you can help them out. As a Wisconsin-grown company for the coolest thing made in Wisconsin, go to madeinwis.com, Palermo's Pizza and their favorite brands. I love Screamin' Sicilian. They have Urban Pie, Connie, Surfer Boy, and you could vote on them in the madeinwis.com contest, the coolest thing made in Wisconsin. Thanks to Craig for joining us. Will we hear you on Sunday, Karma, 10 to noon?
I don't know. What time do the Packers play this week?
I'm in Lambeau. No Craig this week.
All right, no Craig, no Kyle. Coming up next in Madison, Rutledge, and Hamilton. We'll be back with you Torilo Tuesday next here on Kyle, Brust, and Nortman.
Still a bit of a heavy ride along northbound 41 out of the Zoo Interchange up past Swan Boulevard. Southbound slow from Silver Spring all the way to Mayfair Road. Southbound 43 also slowing down from Silver Spring all the way to Locust. And a little bit right through the Marquette Interchange as well. The northbound side backed up out of the Marquette up to about Keefe. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Tonight, mostly cloudy and breezy. A slight chance for showers, a low of 60. Tomorrow, partly cloudy and warm. Slight chance for thunderstorms with a high of 80. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga, 94.5 ESPN.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor. If you're hosting a football party or heading to Green Bay or Madison for the game and a tailgate, we'll help you with your beverage game plan. We are your football party beverage headquarters. Whether you need an ice cold keg, a bottle of your favorite wine, a unique craft brew, or hard to find liquor, we have everything you need, all at the lowest prices in town. Come see us today at 51st in Oklahoma and Milwaukee, and on Barstow in Maine in downtown Waukesha. Voted best liquor store again.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings.
We'll get you all set up with your favorite beverages for your football party and save you a lot of money. Open daily 9 to 9 and Sundays 10 to 2. Family owned and operated since 1960. See all of our weekly specials at discountliquorinc.com.
Discount Liquor.
Hey, this is Jen Latta. You're listening to 94.5 ESPN, WKTI, and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station. Broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN. Presented by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
We them boys. We them boys.
The Faux One Faux Hour at Faux. Getting better.
It's pretty good.
Kyle, Brust, and Nortman on 94.5 ESPN. Always a pleasure on Tuesdays to be joined. Even though he's got a little frown on his face right now, he's wearing the green and gold proud. But our guy, Tori Lowe, on a Tori Lowe Tuesday, joins us here in studio. What's going on, Tori?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Doing fantastic. How are you doing is the real question.
Look, I'm kind of, I'm moderate right now.
Moderate?
I'm moderate.
I don't like moderate, Tori. Last year, you're bumping in here with us.
I'm going to tell you right now, the Packers is 1-1. We got the Saints at home. We got to get this one back. We got to get back on track.
Yeah, you seem down because, when
the Packers lose, the energy level.
So, how do you balance your energy level of where the Packers are from a winning standpoint versus finding your guy in Jordan Love and seeing his development?
Well, to me, I think that when we watched the game, Jordan Love did a great job. It's just that at the end of the game, there were some problems that we still need to work on. So, I saw what I saw was incomplete pass. 57 seconds left, incomplete pass, a miss, quarterbacks. Then, I started seeing things that we need to work on. But if you look at the whole game, as far as it was at one point we thought we had the game in the bag, 24-12.
Outscored 13-0 in the fourth quarter.
So what I'm saying is I think that there's certain things that need to take place as far as with Jordan Love being, just a recent starter. But I think overall I like what I'm seeing. But I do see something with the Packer defense and the run game that I'm not liking right now.
It's something you've seen many times before.
Is a loss like this more or less painful for you than a loss with Aaron Rodgers at the helm over the last several seasons?
57 seconds left. Aaron Rodgers with the ball. That's enough.
That's probably not a loss.
That's probably not a loss.
It wasn't against the San Francisco 49ers in 2021. I think there was less time with that, and it was 2 throws to Devontae over the middle, and boom. Right. They beat the Niners, who ended up beating them in the playoffs that year.
All I'm saying is I saw some things that we need to work on.
Wait a minute. You sound discouraged.
Yes.
He ain't Tori. Wait a minute, Tori.
He ain't moderate.
Wait a minute, Tori. We was talking about putting the ring on that thing, and now you.
No. We still got the ring.
Yeah, you sound like when things get rough, you got to stick it through and see it through.
Kyle, this is Tori getting down on her knee, shaking.
No. I said I was gonna give him time to get adjusted. If you play the audio back.
Hey, receipts.
Receipts. Run the audio back. But what I'm saying is, I was expecting, some magic. 57 seconds left in the game.
And this is on Tori.
And this is, to me, this is what we expect, Packer. This is what we used to.
But Tori, I had to leave the house, and so I kind of tried to watch it. And once the Samari Toure kind of thing happened, I said, you know what? It looks like they're going to call this back. I'm leaving. I was just hoping that magic was going to happen. Right. I didn't feel like in my gut the excitement of, all right, here we go. J-Love about to mark. I just didn't know yet. This is all new to me.
It was there, uncharted territory.
Yeah, so I ain't gonna be unlike you, Tori. I'm standing behind him, all right?
Yeah, I'm definitely standing behind him. But it's like the Matrix, nobody ever makes the first jump,
nice.
It's just like that. It's like the movie in the Matrix when he was supposed to make that jump and nobody ever and he hit the ground. That don't mean he ain't the one.
All right, trust me. Preach, Tori.
You have to go through those tough learning experiences for sure. For sure. It's almost like it's like a coming of age kind of thing. You almost need to go through them.
As we're talking with Tori Lowe on a Tori Lowe Tuesday, I don't know what to make of Tori right now, right? Because, again, he is taking this loss. I thought Kyle was going to take the loss on Monday.
When the Packers lose, I'm going to tell you right now, the whole week ain't right.
But you have to reset your expectations, Tori.
Oh, we gonna reset. We gonna reset Sunday.
What do you do for the next 72 hours?
Hey, you what you do is you be like, okay, you gotta recalibrate.
The frequency module.
There's so much stuff going on through your body and the emotions when you watch a Packer game. I'm all over the place, so I exhaust a lot of energy.
I feel you, Tori. It is.
But like I said, when you lose, it's really not a loss if you learn the lesson.
That's fair. Again, we're going to have plenty of opportunity to see. And as I got to find the right stance here because I know we've used relationships. just want to be patient when it comes to Jordan Love. I don't think it's fair to continue to throw expectations on him, but you can be excited. There's no reason not to be, right? He moves throughout the pocket well, something that Craig Karmazin just mentioned. I like his presence in there. He's made the right throws. He hadn't had David Bakhtiari, Elton Jenkins, Christian Watson, and Aaron Jones and put him in a spot to be successful. But there's still a lot to learn. There's still a lot to uncover. The Bears stunk. We don't know, again, I just need more sample size. We don't know if Atlanta's defense is going to be a top 10 defense. It's just I want to see him in more situations to know what the Packers have in a bigger sample size.
You can see the writing of the wall of the direction that it is going, and that's why everybody has so much excitement and the expectations have went up some, because the writing on the wall back-to-back weeks have said that, wow, this kid is he's a pretty good NFL quarterback. And so the issue that we all take with you is the fact that you continue not to
Who's you all?
Ben, Brad.
No, you can't just group Brad in there because he'll go on your side.
Brad, do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I do feel like he deserves a little bit more respect than you're getting, because the eye test will show you that it looks like he belongs, right?
The eye test doesn't mean anything through 2 weeks.
Not only that, his touchdowns.
Is it Valentine's Day?
Would you have believed that he would have thrown
the best stats?
Okay. All right, if we want to do this,
do we think
under 7 yards per completion is sustainable?
No. What I'm saying is he's making touchdowns. He's connected.
2 weeks. I mean, my goodness gracious!
Young wide receivers. He's making those wide receivers. They were looking really good at one point.
These young wide receivers look better in their first year than I've seen Aaron Rodgers elevate other young wide receivers. Usually with Aaron Rodgers, it takes some time. Devontae Adams had a year where he had to adjust, so usually it takes a little time.
His MO was to take a couple years.
But my goodness, they look these kids look good. Thinking that Wicks and then Reed and then Watson and then Dobbs and then Kraft and then Luke Musgrave, to think that we're going to have all those different weapons, and I think Grant DeBose is good.
Now I'm throwing Grant DeBose in there. That's what I'm saying. Now we're reaching the point where we're just throwing the whole roster out there. They're all Pro Bowlers, Kyle.
He's elevating the teammates around them in their youthful young guys.
Oh, yeah, he is. Look at you guys.
There's no way Jaden Reed has two touchdowns.
Give me a second here. 262 chimes in. I'm with Ben because there's not a lot of them, so can I get some little Benny Believer action? It's been too small of a sample size. Love has looked great, and I hope he continues to progress, but the competition has been weak. That's not haste.
When does it get better?
That's cautious optimism. Let's celebrate while we can and hope for more success to come.
How many games are going to be better? Again, obviously the Bears aren't great. Atlanta's they're going to be decent, but it's not like all of a sudden we're going to play these great teams every single week. Our division sucks. Our schedule isn't hard, so the competition, we can't keep going week 9 saying, that was again, they may be 6-3, but what about when they have to play the Bills
I'll tell you
in the
this.
Super Bowl?
I'll tell you this. After watching the Saints yesterday, I think the Saints will be a very good test.
It'll
be a very good test.
I think the Saints' defense is scary. I mean,
yeah, they're good.
They got a really good defense. Carr is he didn't impress me.
November 12th, when they're playing in Pittsburgh, I want to see him with the terrible towels. I want to see TJ Watt coming off the edge. That is a real defense. They're going to play the Chiefs. Whether the Chiefs' defense is good or not, how is he going to elevate in different types and styles of games? We've only seen 2 different games so far. One of the worst team, arguably, in the NFL, and one of a team that was, in a division where nobody knows what they're going to be.
What's going to happen.
The NFC South is a joke.
Here's the other thing, too. And I do believe Jordan Love is I think he's the one kind of thing. But here's what happens, too, right? This happens oftentimes. A young quarterback will come on the scene and do pretty well, right? This happened with Mike White last year for the Jets, and you'll have a few games you put together.
You get tape.
What happens is you get tape. And these defensive coordinators are very smart, and they know how to take away your strengths. So that is where a sample size, when teams can start to scheme against you, that's where all of a sudden a cliff happens. And we'll see if he can continue on this. I think he will, but it becomes
How come you're not yelling at Brad, Kyle?
Because he's speaking with sense. He's saying that's factual. He's already giving love. But no, that's something that's logical. Eventually, you're going to have to face better.
I can agree with him.
Tori's looking at me like I'm his kid and he needs to ground me right now.
All I'm saying is, like you said, these are small sample sizes, but within these sample sizes, even from preseason, Jordan Love numbers look good. They look good.
800-990-3776. Kyle Brust and Nortman here on a Tory Low Tuesday, and I want to shift the conversation, stay with the Packers, but to David Bakhtiari. How bothered are you? Pretty bothered, it seems, by how this has all transpired.
Well, I'll say this. He's a fan favorite, and to see
was.
Well, he was. He too. We have forgiving fans. But the thing is, when I look at the situation with Bakhtiari, it's kind of disappointing right now.
Yeah, I mean, it is when you know you have somebody who is getting paid a lot of money,
right? And
the expectation when you're paid is that you go out there and play, and the communication's been poor between him, the players, the Packers, the conversations between Matt LaFleur and the media. There's no clarity, and it just makes you feel like, do you want to have him a part of your organization moving forward? And when is it time to cut bait? Is it in the season, or is it after the season when you can cut him for less of a hit?
It seems like he was more concerned about Aaron Rodgers' injury on turf.
Yep.
Than what was going on with the Packer game. You know what I mean?
Ooh.
That's my observation.
And when you think about this, is that we think the Packers may have a chance to compete, because if Ben thinks the AFC South sucks, I want you to know the AFC South.
NFC South.
Oh, excuse me. The NFC South sucks, and that means the NFC North is just as trash and garbage as well. And so with that, the Packers are going to be in position potentially to win the division and be in the playoffs. If David Bakhtiari, it comes down late in the season, he's sitting out, the other players are going to feel like you're not with us because we have an opportunity to do something special and make the playoffs and take that next step, but you're deciding to say, we're playing on turf, so I'm not really ready to risk it for you guys out there and fight with you all. That's what I'm really, really, really concerned about. We get later in the season when we really need him, and he decides that he's not going to play because he has this mental block in his head.
Yeah, Mike in Milwaukee chimes in. There's still Detroit, Minnesota. There's other turf games that are on the schedule for the Green Bay Packers.
Important games, divisional games.
And that, again, as you talk about the weak division that is the NFC North, right? Like right now,
it's up for
0-2 Bears, 0-2 Vikings, and tied for first is the Lions and the Packers at 1-1. You have to take advantage of winning those divisional games, something that the Packers have thrived over the last 20 years. Now, Kyle, I don't even know how to set this up.
Oh, I can set it up.
You go ahead.
All right, so we all know Ben's kind of annoying, right, Tori? Like, he can kind of work people's nerves, right?
He can be a little annoying.
Yeah, like he grinds people's gears. He kind of, marches to his own beat, correct?
I can see that.
And so
I can see that.
And so we were talking today, and he was like, I'm like the Rosa Parks around here. People don't like me. I said, you're not the Rosa Parks. You remind me a little bit more militant, any means necessary by trying to go after people regardless of how you get, going to the, not enemy territory, but I guess for him, going up to Green Bay and trying to get the head coach of a professional franchise to sign his jersey like a child is going into enemy territory and causing problems. And you know who I said he reminds me of? I said, you know what? You remind me of Brother Malcolm. I'm going to call you Brother Ben because by any means necessary, you're going to go against the grain. You're going to do what you got to do. And one day, you might get
You might as well call me Tory Lowe.
You might get taken out. You might get taken out by your. So I said, you like Brother Malcolm. So I said,
what do you think, Tory?
More like Brother Ben,
I thought it was
Brother
more
Malcolm.
like Rush Limbaugh.
Come on now.
Rush.
Can we be somewhere in the middle, please? Can we be somewhere in the middle?
Ben Rush.
I can do that too.
I'm done.
If you don't want to label a black man, well, we'll go with Brother Rush, Ben Rush,
agitator.
I'm out. Definitely Tory Lowe Tuesday done. Absolutely done. Tory,
hey,
appreciate it.
I love you, brother.
Hey, at least we got a smile on his face. He walked in here with his.
Feel a lot better.
Yeah, well, Tory, Packers lost. Tory walked in here with his tail between his legs. He's walking out a happy man.
He's still in moderate.
You see how he just did that tail between? That's disrespectful.
It's okay. You see, that's what I'm saying.
Rush you.
Oh, shut the hell up.
Rush you.
We'll be back, KBN.
Hey.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, presented by Bud Light.
No. So you don't know what kick the can is?
No, it's a cultural thing, but I'm not going to disrespect your culture. Me and Chris have our culture, and obviously you boys have your culture too.
You and Chris being a part of the same culture is not. That's the upset of the century right now.
No,
on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Southbound on 43 continues kind of a hefty ride. Right now we're at 19 minutes to get from Brown Deer Road into downtown. The northbound side backing up as well. We've got a 16-minute ride there from downtown to Brown Deer. It's heavy right out of the Marquette up past Keefe. Southbound on 41, heavy from Silver Spring all the way to Mayfair Road. Northbound's backed up out of the Zoo Interchange almost to Mayfair Road as well. Traffic is brought to you by Fisco Auto Body. Call Fisco Auto Body to help with all body repair needs. Fisco, Fisco, Fisco. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Tonight, mostly cloudy, breezy, slight chance for showers and storms with a low of 60. Tomorrow, partly cloudy and warm. The slight chance for thunderstorms, a high of 80. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
The honeymoon is over after a week 2 letdown for the green and gold.
Pressure from Dupree once again. Fires downfield, incomplete. Kick from 25 yards out. Gives Atlanta a 1-point advantage.
It's on to the home opener where things hope to get back on track.
More or less, we got to do a better job with our details.
Green Bay Game Day is live from Green Bay on Sunday starting at 9 with Alex Strofe, Kyle Wallace, Tori Lowe, and many more. Green Bay Game Day Sunday from 9 to noon right here on 94.5 ESPN.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
It's a city from a fairy tale on the Mediterranean Sea.
Netanya, the city of diamonds. And in this city of diamonds lived a crazy genius named Moses Hadara.
Moses was a mathematician,
a diamond cutter, and a bit of a theoretical physicist.
Albert Einstein devised a formula, E equals mc squared.
Albert's formula unleashed the power locked inside an atom. Moses' formula unleashed the power locked inside a diamond.
Moses began with star facets,
kite facets, upper girdle facets,
lower girdle facets,
and pavilion facets. But then a voice told him to add 24 new facets, the Moses facets.
When he cut the final one,
Shazam! Moses unleashed an explosion of light.
That dazzling diamond is known today as the Kessler 81.
See it for yourself.
See it for yourself.
See it for yourself. At Kessler's.
To find the Kesslers nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Stay up to date on the green and gold all season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine, and experience the events in Milwaukee.
Hey, this is Bo stepping in for Ridgetop Larry, here to tell you about Ridgetop Exterior's most affordable payment options, including no interest and low interest financing. For your free estimate, visit ridgetopexteriors.com. Roofing, siding, windows, and doors, visit ridgetopexteriors.com.
The honeymoon is over after a week 2 letdown for the green and gold.
Pressure from Dupree once again. Fires downfield, incomplete. Kick from 25 yards out. Gives Atlanta a 1-point advantage.
It's on to the home opener where things hope to get back on track.
More or less, we got to do a better job with our details.
Green Bay Game Day is live from Green Bay on Sunday starting at 9 with Alex Strofe, Kyle Wallace, Tori Lowe, and many more. Green Bay Game Day Sunday from 9 to noon right here on 94.5 ESPN. This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light, the official beer of the NFL, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Kinetics can change your life. You can live again without that chronic joint pain and without drugs or surgery. QC Kinetics is advanced regenerative medicine. They take your body's own concentrated healing properties and put them right into your joint to restore and repair that damaged tissue that's causing you all that horrible pain. The patient satisfaction reports are astonishing. Finally, a real alternative to the old ways of dealing with it without pain. And unlike surgery, there's no downtime with QC treatments.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman.
If you have constant pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or back,
keep powering through. You're good.
You need to call and get a free consultation from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics today. Call QC Kinetics and see how the latest advances in precision regenerative medicine can attack your pain and bring you lasting relief. Now is the best time to get started, and they're right here in Milwaukee. Call QC Kinetics now, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474, 414-285-3474.
KBN, Kyle, Brust, and Nortman on 94.5 ESPN. Kyle Wallace, Brad Nortman, Chris Larson helping us out, running the show. I do want to revisit a little bit of what we talked about with Craig Karmazin, but I think we could start by hearing the exchange from reporters yesterday. Matt LaFleur and Rob Domofsky and Jason Wilde, they got a little testy in the media center yesterday at 1265.
I'm sure this would be easier on you if Dave would have just talked to us and explained it after the game, but did he not play because it was a turf game or because he had a issue that popped up last week?
Well, his knee is injured and there's swelling, so.
If that game's played at Lambeau Field, is he able to play or not?
I don't believe so.
Just to clarify, is this
I'm not talking about it. That's it. Just to clarify, I'm done talking about it.
about the knee? Like, what's this?
I'm not talking about it.
I'm addicted to that soundbite. I love it so much. From like the journalism of like what happened, and to would he have played if it was at Lambeau, to just to clarify. Well, I'll just clarify. I'm not talking about it. And someone tries again. I'm just clarifying again. I'm not talking about it. It's just amazing that like the lack of transparency from this entire situation about David Bakhtiari's knee has led to the point of like, I'll find it in the text thread, but it just gets like, someone made a good point. It's just like, what is there to hide at this point, right? Like, why? What are they hiding? Why can't you just be a little bit more upfront? Because again, if David Bakhtiari isn't going to play on turf, I think setting that expectation outwardly will help you then creating more drama for yourself, which it just feels like it isn't worth it.
I'm at the point like, who cares? This is an offensive lineman. Like, they're very important. They are, but they can be replaced. We saw the performance on Sunday. The offensive line held up pretty well. I mean, rushing the ball, I don't know if their fault or if A.J. Dillon's fault, but that's in the past. But overall, the offensive line is not like Jordan Love was under duress or anything like that. So the offensive line was okay without having an all-pro, 2 all-pros there because Elton Jenkins got hurt. Like, he's taking up way too much time for an offensive lineman. He's not a quarterback. He's not a running back. He's not a receiver. He's not a corner. He's not a stud D lineman. He's not a stud inside linebacker. He is an offensive lineman. So
now easy, Kyle, because in the same breath, you were the same one as Craig Karmazin was in here no less than 30 minutes ago, talking about how if David Bakhtiari was traded to the Jets, that he wouldn't have got hurt. You know, like, and so, like...
Oh, you talking about Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah.
No. I said that maybe there was a possibility. I mean, fate is fate. That's what I believe. Aaron Rodgers will probably get hurt anyway.
I tend to agree with you, but I think it's something that can't be ignored, right?
It's
you're guys gonna be sick of it. Through 2 games, I think it is a good sign that if there is an injury, we do know that the Packers' offensive line is deep. We do know that Josh Nijman has had reps at right tackle and left tackle. But David Bakhtiari is an all-pro.
He's that good.
And without Elton Jenkins for an uncertain period of time, having an all-pro left tackle will help negate the loss of 2 guys. Now, can you... Hopefully the schedule, I think, as we talked about, is something where they can overcome this, but it's not something you want to just dismiss. I think it's a little far to just dismiss, like, I'm sick of him. We should just replace him. I think that's a ridiculous stance to have when it comes to David Bakhtiari.
Well, I'm just curious to what extent this is actually existing in the locker room, because I can tell you that by the time it reaches the media, by the time it reaches the coach's podium, this has been festering, right? I mean, it's usually to a greater degree in the locker room than what the outside public knows. So to my question is, how frustrated are the coaches? How impatient are the rest of the players? So that's something we just don't know. But I can tell you it's probably more than we think.
They're human beings, right? If somebody here wasn't pulling their weight, or we were leaving early, you complained about leaving early. Well, he really didn't leave early. You complained about Mark Tauscher phantomly leaving early.
It affected me.
No, but that's the thing. There's small things that kind of fester and they grow into something bigger. And at this point, Matt LaFleur is over it. He is completely over it. And the question that the reporter asked was kind of a little, had you guys
If
been,
he's over it, he should put his left tackle on blast. He should say he's not going to play on turf, and I'm not happy about it.
I mean, he's not.
He's too much of a player's coach.
Yeah,
to do that.
he's not. That's not.
Maybe.
But at the same vein as you guys talk about setting the culture, shouldn't he be saying that? So he's saying like, hey, my expectation is if you are able to play, you are going to play. Not because of turf, grass. If you are able to play, you are going to play.
I don't think that's the culture he wants.
No, yeah, he reluctantly agreed to it, and he's trying to keep the peace. And he's trying to keep this team together, and he doesn't want to send David Bakhtiari off on some type of rant on Twitter or social media where he's saying entirely too much, and then he can't control him, and then becomes a bigger issue.
The culture he's creating right now, though, is that like you are going to dictate when you play or not. So to me, it's more powerful to get ahead of it and make sure you have expectations for your players to play football versus being like, he's been injured, like playing this horrible game of telephone communication.
For me, if it's dictating whether or not you're going to play on grass, that's when I have an issue. If it's just when it comes to turf, okay, I can kind of deal with that. But if he's just saying, hey, like, this is how I feel before the game, and he's picking and choosing, this 8 games or 9 games that Craig said, that's such a low bar for us to set. He needs to be playing more of that 13, 14 games. Probably 13, that's the sweet spot for games he should be playing this year.
800-990-3776. Is it worth it anymore? Is David Bakhtiari worth having on this football team? Let's go to Brian in Lake Mills. Brian, welcome into KBN.
Oh, you guys got me fired up off this topic. 2 things. Front office needs to sit down and go, fine, we're going to fine you. There is no more, my knee is swollen or hurts. We know exactly why you're not playing. It's because of the field condition. Now, let's wait to see till the next game, because it maybe could be it's his first full game that he is recovering from, and maybe he did. But I'm doing the turf. It's got to be that. The other thing is Rodgers, he could have been traded to the Jets, but he's playing on the turf that he doesn't want to play on. So those are his home games, and then he might have some road games on that. So let's just say that 70% of his games are going to be played on turf that he doesn't want to play just to be with his buddy. He can't have it both ways. So, the blood pressure of Bakhtiari and the saga, he's just not part of the culture anymore, and just move on.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. We appreciate the input. 800-990-3776. And again, the biggest thing that I take away from what Brian says is, like, that's where I go to with Matt LaFleur, right? Whether it be him calling him out in the media and seeing if there's going to be a change. Is there an internal talk and be like, dude, if you're not going to play on turf, we have to fine you. If you unless they have to have a medical reason of why he's not able to play. And if you have to go by his word, I feel like you probably have some way of like doing testing before you go on the field to see if he's good enough to go, despite the field conditions.
Yeah, they would have a hard time being able to fine him just the way the fines are written in the NFL, because he could just say, I got pain in my knee.
Have you been fined before? I'm sorry to interrupt.
I've never been fined.
Oh, okay.
I've got a crazy fine story though. That wasn't of me though. It was another. I'm not sure we have time for it. Maybe in the next segment, but it's a crazy fine story.
But I'm sorry. Go ahead, continue.
No, so anyway, they'd have a hard time finding him, but I feel like he's so much of a savvy vet. He knows what it takes to be able to get himself to play, say the right words, to be able to excuse himself from any certain game. I mean, like he's a pretty smart guy, and I think he chooses his words wisely. So it's I feel like the Packers are toothless in their ability to actually put him down to punishment or anything else.
800-990-3776. Let's go to Kyle in North Milwaukee. Kyle, welcome into KBN.
Yeah, I think this is still a turf issue with David Bakhtiari, and what I really wanted to have the Packers do is when he first injured it and then tried coming back and then had to go for a second surgery and possibly a third surgery, they should have just done an injury settlement and cut ties right there. We already had all the guys that we needed to back him up that are already playing right now that are taking care of that spot. They should have just done an injury settlement, let him go probably about 3 years ago, 3 years ago.
Thank you for the call, Kyle. 800-990-3776.
I hate to, hey, every Kyle has a right to an opinion, and I may disagree with some. We weren't in a position to let him go. He's still very valuable. I mean, there's no way you're cutting him 3 years ago. You're really working through it because at that point, you still have number 12 in Aaron Rodgers, and you can't cut David Bakhtiari.
And whether or not it worked out last year with him or not, your expectations with 12, whether, he didn't show up for OTAs or the roster wasn't put together to win a Super Bowl, the expectation if you have a Hall of Fame quarterback behind the under center is to win a Super Bowl. So you don't give up on a left tackle, especially if that's the case. 800-990-3776. Is David Bakhtiari even worth it anymore? We'll continue to have that conversation and hear from you next on Kyle Brust and Nortman. Kyle Brust and Nortman, presented by Bud Light.
You're listening to Kyle Brust and Nortman, KBN.
I nailed it, though. I said, she didn't go to the back of the bus.
Yeah.
Said, I ain't moving.
You right.
I'm not leaving.
Well, I'm
not bleeping leaving.
No, you right.
Presented by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
We do have some delays along 41 southbound, basically from Appleton Avenue all the way down to about Mayfair Road. Westbound 94, lots of company there, leaving the 25th Street area through the stadium. Southbound 43 on and off the brakes, basically from Hampton Avenue down past Locust, and then back on the brakes through the Marquette interchange onto 4394. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight, mostly cloudy and breezy, a slight chance for showers, a low of 60. Tomorrow, partly cloudy and warm, slight chance for thunderstorms with a high of 80. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
They say seeing is believing. And when you see what's inside at American Place Casino, you better believe you're gonna love it. Because when it comes to amazing gaming, we're a real game changer. With the most exciting of table games like blackjack, craps, and roulette, the newest slots, a sports book, restaurants, bars, and more. So if you're ready for excitement, we'll see you soon. American Place Casino. Change the game.
Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537.
Kevin Moret here from Mentality Men's Health. We hear stories every day in our clinics that what used to work for guys doesn't anymore. Increased cardio, cut out certain food, nothing stops the changes in their bodies, especially the weight. The fact is, years of decreasing testosterone has packed on the belly fat that won't go away. We've introduced a medication, semaglutide, that helps drop 15% of the body weight on average while preserving testosterone. Join the over 20,000 Mentality clients and jumpstart your results. In Milwaukee, go to lowtusa.com. That's lowtusa.com.
Take it to the house this season and enjoy tailgating from your own backyard. Tito's wants to make sure you have the best tailgate on the block. You can win game day gear for your next gathering by entering to win at titostailgate.com. Be sure to enter by November 15th for your chance to win a Solo Stove Grill, a Brewmate back tap for batch cocktails, or a Tito's football jersey. For official rules, visit titostailgate.com. Must be 21 years old to enter. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof. Crafted to be savored responsibly.
For over 4 decades, one name has stood out as a symbol of excellence in automotive sales and service. It's the Boucher Automotive Group, dedicated to providing exceptional experiences to all of our valued customers.
We will help you find the perfect vehicle within your budget while respecting your time.
With 20 convenient locations, we're the one-stop destination for all your automotive needs.
At Boucher, we're your trusted partner on every mile of your journey. Riding with you every mile since 1977.
Check out our brand new Hyundai dealership, one of the largest in the Midwest.
Step inside of our state-of-the-art showroom where you can view our new Hyundai models and some of our finest certified pre-owned.
We've also expanded our service center, staffed by our factory certified technicians.
And right next door, we've started construction on our all-new Genesis of Waukesha dealership.
But we're not just building walls, we're building careers.
So if you're looking for a career with great benefits and opportunity for growth, Boucher is the place for you.
At Boucher, we ride with you every mile.
The Bog in Saukville is Ozaki County's best golf experience. 18 championship holes designed by the legendary golfer Arnold Palmer, settled amongst 250 acres of beautiful private land. The Bog caters to golfers of all skill levels, offering a golf experience unlike any other. Come enjoy the finest golf greens in Wisconsin, and after your round, enjoy a bite to eat in our restaurant or out on our new patio bar overlooking the 18th green. It's time to golf, Wisconsin. It's time to enjoy the Bog.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Kyle, Brust, and Nortman in the Faux One Faux Hour on 94.5 ESPN. I'm Ben Brust. He's Kyle Wallace alongside Brad Nortman. And as we're talking about potential fines for David Bakhtiari, our guy Brad Nortman, 6-year NFL vet, crushing skulls as a punter,
That's right.
has a story for us. Please enlighten.
All right, it's story time with Uncle Brad here. So when I was playing for the Panthers, we went from Gus Bradley, who was very player friendly, not a lot of rules, wouldn't really fine guys very often. We went from him to the pendulum swung the other way when we didn't have success. So we had Tom Coughlin and Doug Marrone. And the way the CBA works and the fine structure works in the NFL is that it's like specific what exactly each fine is. So if you're late for a meeting, there is a range of dollar value fines that you can fine your guy. Now it's a massive range. It's like $100 to like $12,000. Like that's the range by which you can fine a guy. But you don't have to fine a guy either. If someone's late for a meeting, you can say, okay, I'm just going to give you a warning. Next time we're going to start to do the fine structure. That's what it was in Carolina, for instance. So Rivera would, if you were late for a meeting, you missed a meeting, he would sit down with you and say, this is a warning, but next time we're going to go to the fine structure. Usually it'd be like a lower level fine. And then the third time, not only is there something wrong clearly, but the fine would increase. So that leads us to Carolina, Jacksonville, year 6, and we had Doug Marrone and we had Tom Coughlin. And Tom Coughlin made it clear that it's max fines on the first offense, no matter what, max fines. And guys were pretty shocked. And we had a guy that we signed. I'm not going to say his name because I want to put someone else's money on blast. But we,
I'm sure he could afford it, right?
Well, you're going to find out. So we signed a guy midway through the season. He was living on the West Coast. So we flew in, had a workout on Tuesday, and we signed him on Tuesday. So, I'm like trying to point him in the right direction for things and be like, okay, breakfast is this time, team meetings this time, special teams
what
is
a
this
nice
time.
guy.
Yeah, that's right. Trying to help a brother out.
And
right?
he's asking you, huh?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, he knows that he's like, I can trust that guy. That guy I can trust.
The punter.
Yeah,
you said you're a great place for people to confide in.
That's right. Safe space right here. So he shows up, and the next day on Wednesday morning, I don't see my breakfast. Team meeting, the chair is empty. Special teams meeting, the chair is empty. I even get asked by the special teams coach, hey, where's XYZ? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I told him to be here. So he runs in. We're out for our walkthrough now. He's all disheveled. He's still like putting a shirt on. And he's just running in. And I was like, oh, buddy, you messed up big time. So he was on West Coast time, right? So all the way to the East Coast. He tried to hit your alarm on the side, and instead of snoozing it, he turned it off, and he slept right through. Okay, so I was wondering, I was like, is this guy going to get max fine across the board week 1? Sure enough, this is like probably week 5 of the season. Sure enough, max fine for missing breakfast, team meeting, and late for special teams meeting. The grand total of $36,000. And the first game and probably the first half of the next game, my man was playing for free. Because all of it soaked up in the fine. Can you imagine that? $36,000. Next time you think that your boss is punitive, that was crushing.
Yeah, it's all relative, though.
Come on, $36,000.
36 G's. That seems like
for a game and a half.
What was his salary?
I think he was on vet minimum. He did eventually sign a pretty great contract.
I don't care.
But still, $36,000 for 3 hours of sleep.
No, that seems.
Think about that.
That'll hurt my heart. I mean, regardless of how rich I am, $36,000 for that, like,
and it's after tax now. It's like you get paid taxes. So it might have been 2 full games actually when it comes down to it. I mean, that's still a lot, and he obviously played the rest of the year. But $36,000.
Jaded. How much money do you make around here?
No, it's not about how much. It's not how much I make. It's just like if I'm like the worst thing that ever happened to me was when I went to the casino when we were playing in Las Vegas my junior year. I just turned 21 in October of my junior year, and then our Thanksgiving tournament was in Vegas, so I took a scholarship check. And I took the scholarship check, and I lost it all in those 3 days.
That does not sound like something that you're supposed to spend the scholarship check on.
How much was the scholarship
check? That is not
like $1,100.
Okay.
No,
that's that can go quickly.
So then I went back to Vegas. So I had a great college career, freshman year, sophomore year, Sweet 16s. Junior year, we lost in the first round of the tournament. Obviously made the Final Four in 2014. You can douche me, Chris, if you are there.
Yeah, douche.
We'll get that quicker, I promise. That's what she said. Junior year, after we lose in the first round of the tournament, we go out to Vegas. And I'm just the luckiest person in the entire world. And I swear to goodness, if I could change one thing in the world, it's that I wouldn't have won any money that time I went out there.
Oh.
Maybe I wouldn't have the when I see the roulette ball spin, I think it's gonna land on my number every time, or I'm gonna get a blackjack every time, or when I roll craps, I'm not gonna get a 7. We don't want 7 out. We want an 8 and 9. We want to hit the point. As you can see now.
Oh boy,
so
this is
you're addicted
to gambling. Slow down. I enjoy gambling. Addicted, strong word.
I
won
label him
$7,000 as a 21-year-old.
I can't believe you.
Wow.
I was getting stretch limos with my teammates.
Were
going
you really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was great.
Oh my gosh.
It was wonderful.
This is insane.
But it was the worst thing that ever happened.
You got
to me.
the taste.
I got the taste.
And so you've been doing
believe
it
this though, or don't believe. You'll hear me out. Just hear me out here.
I'll listen.
So
I'm listening.
2 of my teammates had just, their careers had just ended because they were seniors.
Yeah.
One of them brought their girlfriend, which I thought was a bizarre move.
He was in love.
So what do you do when you're, a 21-year-old?
You go to the strip club.
Thank you.
You go to the strip club.
So me and my buddy went to the gentleman's club in a stretch limo,
Sapphire?
and my buddy stayed with his.
You go to Sapphire. That's the biggest one.
The horse one.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but regardless, so we're not going to get into the details and all this other stuff. But I felt like I was a baller, and so I guess I've given that back and more.
So wait a minute, you make all this money just to spend it on strippers and
no,
limos
I came back with $5-6 grand. I probably won 7-8 and came back with $5-6 grand.
What are you in your whole life? Are you up or down?
That I will not be sharing the dollar figures, but I'm down lifetime.
Down.
Down lifetime, big.
So you don't.
I can start 1017 the truth.
Oh, so what you're saying? You're not an addict. And actually, I shouldn't say that because I was listening to the Tory Lowe show yesterday, and it's not actually a gambling addict. It's a gambling disorder. You have a gambling disorder.
It's easy with the accusations, Kyle.
I'm down big, but you know what? I do know a lot about gambling.
Can always make more is my philosophy.
Yeah, that's how you continue to go in debt, Ben.
It's a slippery slope right there.
All right. So now Kyle's lecturing me. I got my investment guy next to me.
Listen, I bet $5 and I was hurt from that. I had to convince myself it's only $5. I can make it back.
Yeah, see, I need to get there. Maybe we could have a therapy session together. Or maybe you're right. Maybe I need to call the number.
Well, just as long as you're doing circus sports, that's all that matters.
800-990-30 or Pato Sportsbook. We love our good friends at Potawatomi Sportsbook. 800-990-3776. We also love Forward Healthy Lifestyles because I've been going down to Germantown and it's been amazing working with Lindsay and her team. You've all heard about testosterone, how much it matters to men, and it's a major factor in how we gain muscle, build tone, and perform in the bedroom. The testosterone experts at Forward Healthy Lifestyle in Germantown help make men with safe, effective testosterone replacement therapy. Look, it's not just about your looks, your biceps, the sex. Big T helps with energy, concentration, mood, weight management, and heart health. So optimize your testosterone and book a free confidential consultation with ForwardHealthyLifestyles.com. Again, ForwardHealthyLifestyles.com. Lindsay's team is amazing. I did the blood draw. We worked on figuring out where I was deficient, creating a plan for myself to, sort of get these benefits that I'm talking about. And I feel them every day as I continue to try and better myself. They have some other services too. I mean, they have sexual enhancement services, penile enlargement, Austin Powers, one pump named from Austin Powers, one book on how to use Swedish pump from Austin Powers. Now, there's a way more effective than doing something like that. It is not painful. I've heard the testimonies from other people. I'm telling you, forwardhealthylifestyles.com. They will change your life. You look down, you're like, man, I can do better. They can help you out. forwardhealthylifestyles.com. We wrap up Kyle Brust and Nortman being joined by John Anderson of ESPN as he's going to join Homer from 5 to 6 on the Homer Hour. A little crosstalk with John Anderson next.
This is Kyle Brust and Nortman, presented by Bud Light.
When I'm, again, doing the Pack Arena, and as a shareholder, when I'm sizing up my ring, I'm sizing up my ring
Pack Arena right now.
1 pack of 2 pack of 3 pack Arena.
Hey.
What's the rest of the words? Jordan up to Christian Watson. Nay, that's a touchdown.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. Football guy.
I would love to go out, put pads back on, and block 7th graders. Does that make me a raging psychopath?
Football guy.
You're 6'3", 275 pounds. Yeah, I wish.
Not exactly the same weight class.
Coming at it from different views.
Like, I legit was thinking, boy, I could really help this team.
Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Also sponsored by Coors Light. Weekdays 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN. And available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
Here in Wisconsin, a good old-fashioned is an important way of life. And that's where my friends at Perky's Old Fashioned come in. Hey, it's ESPN Milwaukee's Gabe Neitzel here to tell you about the easiest way to put together an old-fashioned. Perky's offers both brandy and bourbon old-fashioned mixes. And get this, the booze is already in there. Just add the soda of your choosing, and you'll have Grandma Perky's old-fashioned in the palm of your hand. Perky's is locally made and great for get-togethers of all kinds. Get perked up and head to perkysspirits.com for your nearest Perky's location.
Here in Wisconsin, one name is synonymous with fantastic frozen pizza, Palermo's. For almost 60 years, Palermo's has focused on feeding Wisconsin families. And though Palermo's has grown a lot since 1964, they're still family-owned. They're still proud to call Milwaukee home. And they're still committed to making the best frozen pizza possible. From their new and improved rising crust pizzas to their guilt-free Primo thin pies, Palermo's has a delicious slice for every appetite. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer food aisle. Palermo's. Flavor is our family's business.
Kessler's works with crazy genius diamond cutters around the globe.
But we keep our crazy genius jewelry designers right here at home, where we can keep them busy.
Monica, I heard we gave our design team a challenge.
Yes, we gathered all 14 of them together and made their eyes sparkle with joy. What did you say? I said we wanted each of them to design a pendant that looks and feels like springtime.
Springtime! New life!
14 designers? 14 pendants?
Yes, and we manufactured exactly 8 copies of each of these 14 designer pendants.
There are only 112 of these limited edition pendants in the whole world?
Yep, and they will sell for only $299.
Wow.
One last thing, we're donating all the profits to the charity of the designer's choice.
Being employee-owned gives us the freedom to do fun things.
And then we share those things with you, the people we love.
See the crazy genius designer pendants at KesslersDiamonds.com.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. If you're in the market for a full-size 8-passenger SUV, look no further than the Defender 130. And with the Defender 90, the 110, and this 130, there's luxury and the right size for everyone. Right, Sammy? And now is the best time to take advantage of a great offer like this.
For a limited time, get 3.9% special APR rate for up to 60 months on new 2023 Defenders at Land Rover Waukesha. Go to LandRoverWaukesha.com.
The Crusaders are rolling.
In full sprint mode, and he's just going to run past everyone. 25-20, 15-10-5, touchdown, Marvinus Butler.
On Friday night, Catholic Memorial takes on the New Berlin West Vikings. Our coverage with Gabe Neitzel and Mike Podol on the call starts at 6:30. Catholic Memorial Football on 94.5 ESPN is brought to you by R&R Insurance, BC Adhesives, KMI Construction, Lake 5 Landscape Supply, Home Sealed Exteriors, Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, Curative Care Network. The honeymoon is over after a week 2 letdown for the green and gold.
Pressure from Dupree once again. Fires downfield, incomplete. Kick from 25 yards out. Gives Atlanta a 1-point advantage.
It's on to the home opener where things hope to get back on track.
More or less, we got to do a better job with our details.
Green Bay Game Day is live from Green Bay on Sunday starting at 9 with Alex Strofe, Kyle Wallace, Tori Lowe, and many more. Green Bay Game Day Sunday from 9 to noon right here on 94.5 ESPN. This is Kyle Brust and Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Hey, it's Brad Nortman. QC Kinetics can change your life. You can live without that chronic joint pain and without drugs or surgery. QC Kinetics is advanced regenerative medicine. They take your body's own concentrated healing properties and put them right back into your joint to restore and repair that damaged tissue that's been causing you all that horrible pain. The patient satisfaction reports are astonishing. Finally, a real alternative to the old ways of dealing with pain. And unlike surgery, there's no downtime with QC treatments. If you have consistent pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or back, you need to call, and you need a free consultation from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics today. Call QC Kinetics and see how the latest advances in precision regenerative medicine can attack your pain and bring you lasting relief. Now is the best time to get started, and the best thing is they're right here in Milwaukee. Call QC Kinetics today at 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Wrapping up Kyle, Brust, and Nortman here on 94.5 ESPN. I'm Ben Brust. That's Brad Nortman alongside Kyle Wallace. Petey Pablo in the background of Reed might be necessary for everything moving forward, Chris. I kind of like that. But we're excited to be joined now on the phone. You'll hear him with Homer from 5 to 6 on the Homer Hour. It's John Anderson of ESPN. John, I'll start here because this saga continues to not go away. I figured we'd have more clarity, but after Matt LaFleur's presser yesterday regarding David Bakhtiari, as someone who seemed to get a little bit fed up with Aaron Rodgers, do you think the two are connected here?
Do I think they're connected? Well, I think they're soulmates, but I don't know that it is rubbing off in terms of one's injuries, in terms of one's health, in terms of if he doesn't have to play, I don't have to play. But I do think it's incredibly frustrating. That's only the most important position on the line, and it's unreliable. Which, again, I don't know that I blame Bakhtiari in that. His knee is unreliable, and that's a hard deal. And then when Jenkins goes down, so yeah, I just think that's the frustrating part. Is every week are we going to have to wait till Friday or Saturday to figure out what this is going to be, and then he's there, and then he's gone. Because I think that obviously makes a huge difference that, in the meeting room on Saturday night, we got to change all the line things around. Sorry, dudes.
John, when Jordan Love went off that scamper on that 24-yard run and he didn't slide, he tried to evade the tackle, and Coach LaFleur told him that he wants him to get down next time, but Jordan Love fired back and said, I thought the team needed some juice. Now, do you think do you love or hate that? And is that inexperience, or is that just awesomeness?
It's awesomeness as long as you give up, as long as you get up. The line between awesomeness and injury is really, on that side of the line, is so marginal. I always say, if you watch guys that Fran Tarkenton, I realize I date myself with Fran Tarkenton, but he ran around like crazy and didn't get hurt because as long as you stay on your side of the line, you're protected. All those guys on the other side of the line have bad intentions, and as soon as you cross over there, they're going to try to waylay you and hurt you, which is good. That's their right to do. I hope that's what you're supposed to do if you're on the other side. Get down. I get that you think you need juice. I'll take the first down and you being healthy to get back under center rather than risk it. Maybe that makes me like an old fuddy-duddy and everybody's injured and needs to be bubble wrapped, but I just think that position anymore, just get down. There'll be another play that you can give me juice to. 24 yards is enough juice, but yeah, slide and give me 20.
Joined by old fuddy-duddy John Anderson here on Kyle, Brust, and Nortman across 94.5 ESPN and 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam.
John, being a Packers fan just like myself, watching that game on Sunday, were you more let down from the fact that we gave up a lead, or were you just kind of more positive of the fact that, we're missing so many pieces, 4 of our top 5 offensive players are out? This is still a positive step forward. Where are you mentally at now come Tuesday? You've had 48 hours since the Packers lost.
No, those are soothing things for now we can go, this is how we're going to get over this. You're up 24-12. You're in the fourth quarter. The ball game is won. The percentage of teams that win up by a dozen in the fourth quarter is super high. That's like when you get an A in school. You got to be 90 or above. So, no, to have that thing in your hand, to have sort of put yourself in position to win the game, to have the game sort of in your hands, in your balance, and you're in control, and to lose it is terrible. I would like to be soothed by all those things and go, yep, we had all these things against us. But the fact is, for some reason, all those things seem to be okay for the first three quarters, and we survived and advanced and overcame them. And so to not pull it out, no, that's really discouraging. It's really hard to have a chance to win. You guys know that. Herm Edwards told me one time, I'd said, it's hard to win a football game. I've learned that after 25 years sitting here at ESPN from you guys. He goes, it's hard to get a first down. And he was all, and so when you work that hard and you have it there and it is set up and you should be 2-0, all those other things are nice, but I feel like those are salves for a really, really gross missed opportunity.
It sounds like you're just trying to be nice to A.J. Dillon. You want to blame him just like me. Thanks, John. I appreciate that.
I love A.J. Dillon. I'm all in on. Listen, he's like me. He's a Connecticut guy. I'm all here for him, And I mean, right now he's not Willie Buchanan yet in terms of number 28, but he's trying. But yeah, he needs to be better. There's no question that here's your chance, and the ace guy is out. You're not having to split carries. You can it's literally have all of them you want and just do the job. And that he's come up a little short. That is disappointing.
John,
and I imagine his agents in the contract year are going, that's also disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it. We did get the feel that if he did play well this season, he wasn't going to be back with the Packers, and if he didn't play well, he still wasn't going to be back with the Packers, but I think he's solidifying his story right now. But I do want to ask you our poll question of the day here. Back in June, Craig Karmazin said that the Packers should trade David Bakhtiari. Was he right?
What can I get for him?
I mean, changing the culture the same way that Goody's kind of built this team. He didn't bring Mercedes Lewis back. He got rid of Rodgers' guys. He didn't bring in a kicker to go against Anders Carlson. He didn't bring a quarterback in to go against Jordan Love. Mm-hmm. David Bakhtiari is really the last of this regime, so I understand what you're going for in terms of I don't know what that answer is, but maybe it's more of a culture thing than an actual return on investment.
Right. So the point then is, if you're going to do that, then just let him go. Here, we'll take how much dead money do we already have? What the heck? What's another 10 million?
That's kind of what I was thinking. It's $40 million dead this year.
So, I mean, I am a guy that would have tried to keep Aaron Rodgers around. And once he really decided he wanted to go, that's fine. So I like Bakhtiari. If he can play a little bit, I want him. He could be the most important guy. I don't think he's going to ruin the culture. If I'm going to trade him, I needed to get something for him. And if it's just a culture thing, then you could just, trade him for a bag of donuts. But I don't see that coming. I need something that I don't know that he would have garnered much out on the market. But I don't mind having him on the roster. I do mind not having him on the field.
He definitely has not helped his cause in terms of what his market value is now that we don't know when he's going to play, if it's turf, if it's not, if it's a flare-up. But, John, we appreciate you joining us for a little crosstalk. That's a little preview of what you can hear from John with Homer on the Homer Hour from 5 to 6 coming up next. John, thanks so much.
See you guys.
That's John Anderson of ESPN. Homer Hour up next. Play us out, Chris.
Eastbound on 94, we are seeing a few taps of the brakes coming in across the Holly Road area.